This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday. I'm discombobulated because I didn't do a show yesterday, so it's got me off on my days. Welcome. Bondi's Big Tits. Welcome in. We are back. I'm sorry, sometimes you just have to take a little break. Yesterday was one of those days. I went out, touched grass. Kinda. We're also going to take a break next week. Last year we did a summer break week and took a break from the news. We're going to do that again, and that is going to be next week. That's going to start on Sunday. So for YouTube, podcast, it's going to be like I'm not on. You ain't going to get shit from me. Maybe the odd short on YouTube or something. But I will be live on Twitch watching classic TV shows. Classic wrestling, all kinds of different shit. Who knows what we're going to do. I'm still working out the schedule. I'll let you know tomorrow exactly what we're going to do. The 4th of July celebration usually is on the 4th of July. The Capital 4th, PBS does. That we always watch. It has Carlton hosting. That's actually happening on Friday night. We're going to watch that on Friday night, 8 o'clock. It is Carlton, Gary Sinise, Chicago, Kool and the Gang, Alan Jackson, Trace Adkins. It's a Capital 4th. Friday, PBS. Sunday, we're going to start our vacation week, and we're going to do classic television shows. But until then, we got crazy ass news going on. I got one of the wildest roundups of news you've ever seen. I can't even begin to tell you about this. Inmates took over a jail in North Carolina. Cop in Florida was involved in a deadly crash that killed a 92-year-old woman and got another cop that assaulted a pregnant woman. Video of a security guard hitting a man in the face with a taser. Apparently some ex-inmates have been taking over the Fort Lauderdale Mall and sleeping in it overnight. We've got mutant mice in New York City. Remember the warehouse fire we were covering like a week ago or so, week and a half ago? Turns out that warehouse was full of food. There's now 85 million pounds of rotting food, and it apparently stings really bad. Dragonfly Test, welcome in. We got multiple confrontations on the House floor today. We're gonna learn, if you don't know the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, I guess you're gonna learn tonight. Florida woman eaten by alligator. Man on vacation in Mexico eaten by crocodile. Australian man has been arrested for murder. An Australian man has been arrested for murder after they found a 17-year-old girl in his suitcase. The man is claiming self-defense. Remember the representative that had went missing and nobody had heard from him for months? He made it back to the House floor, and he is saying he was out because of depression. Best healthcare in the world he has access to. You don't get to skip your job because you depressed, which is a real thing. Depression is a bitch. You don't get to skip your job for 8 months. ICE says it will not comply with mask ordinances. A nun was released from ICE custody today. We're going to talk about MK Ultra, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who, you know, can be my GOP mommy. Holiday says the difference between an alligator and a crocodile is one will see you later, one will see you after a while. Welcome in, Holiday, Fuzzy Simba. You do, but you're trying to quit. There's this skit with, does anybody know who Yucko the Clown is? And he's at like a car show. And he's looking, like the woman is like a show woman, and she's talking about, you know, the details of the car and everything. And Yucko is like, how many dead hookers you think I could fit in the trunk? And she's like, well, that depends. He's like, oh, well, if I, you know, hack them up a little bit. It was not only was it a 17-year-old, it was a 17-year-old Taiwanese girl. I don't even have time to run down all the crazy shit you're going to watch tonight. The fucking church in Kentucky did a mock firing squad execution of immigrants. It's fucked. It's really fucked. When I watched it, I was like, this is a skit or something, right? And this isn't an actual church. This can't be like from now. No, it's real. It's now. I got it. Like, I didn't believe it at first, but then I got it from TMZ, and I'm like, well, TMZ said it. Teen died of what is called the Benadryl challenge. Alabama man was accused of throwing cats out his car window as he was driving, got off, charges dropped. He is speaking out now. I may move back down to Alabama and find the motherfucker, have a few words with him. A woman in Georgia says she went in for an oil change and and the oil change place just left her engine in the back seat. In a school in New Jersey in hot water after it was revealed that a picture of baby Hitler made it into their yearbook. Oh, I didn't even the most absurd story tonight. Parents have been arrested. I can't. This is not even funny. Parents have been arrested after, because usually when you have child neglect, it's usually the kids are emaciated. No, this kid was 7 years old and 255 pounds and died. Apparently the parents were overfeeding the kid. They've been arrested for neglect. All that and a lot freaking more. Tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Clinically, I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad that you were here for this episode, because there are so many goddamn Florida stories tonight. It is not even like so many of the things I just named happened in Florida. A couple of them in Texas. Most in Florida. Fuzzy Simba, gender fluid, warlord. Florida man checking in. Glad to have you back and on your account. That was one of the things, like, you disappeared like the day you were supposed to have your account back. It was like, that was odd. Glad to have you back, my friend. Hope you had a nice trip. We have a standoff, possibly still ongoing. This is in Boston. With a lot of leftist audio. You can see the pigs out of their vehicles. This is an armed individual. A shooter is the way they described them. Police standoff underway with a shooter. On the freeway I-495. I would assume that's the loop around Boston. Traffic stopped in both lanes. Not seeing news station with a live shot currently. There's a fucking Massachusetts DOT camera. How do I watch their cameras? How do I get to it? $4.95. This is about 2 hours ago. They have called in a negotiator. I-5. Once again, this is the video you're watching from about 2 hours ago. Trying to get the WCVB. See if we've got a live shot. They've apparently called in a negotiator about 30 minutes ago. That was the latest update. They called in a negotiator to deal with this standoff. Ooh, we do have live. Oh, nope. Maybe that's not a live shot.
495, and you can see police have that overpass blocked off on both sides right now as they investigate on 495, which is right below us. We know both northbound and southbound sides of the highway are shut down, and this is that mess of diverted traffic you can see here behind me.
This is about an hour ago.
Off of 495 in both directions, and anyone trying to get over that overpass is being turned around into the neighborhoods in this
especially if you're right near your house and you got a shit.
They're coming in. A lot of heavy traffic. It took us a while to get out here. We know this is a very active investigation. An officer here on scene asking us to stay back, saying that there could be risk for crossfire on the highway here. Again, 495 right over here.
See, risk for crossfire. That's why I want a live shot. I am trying to get us current live out of Boston.
It won't cool off at night.
Doing the goddamn weather right now.
70 degrees. So that's a very sticky overnight that we're talking about. And in the city right now, kind of see the haze out there. We've had some showers, kind of, especially out toward the airport. The dew point is 69 degrees. Winds out of the south at 10, gusting to 21. Temperature's cooled off a little bit, but if you stepped outside, it hasn't cooled off one bit because that humidity is so sky high out there. Watching these thunderstorms, they're just kind of settling their way down to the south. We've had a couple of them that have been fairly strong, especially rain producers, a little bit of hail with them, gusty winds as well, but nothing that's really strong right at this very moment. Weakening systems as they work their way southward. You can see this area here. It was pretty good when it went through Brockton. Now it's getting over towards Route 3 and falling apart. Up to the
clinically. Do some dabs until your brain goes
really
fuzzy.
Kind of up through Lynn, but you can see how it kind of wraps around the city. So the city really didn't get much rain out of this one. But from Burlington over to Danvers, pretty good, but it will be sliding its way offshore. This is the one I've seen a little bit of lightning with.
I smoked a dab bong with Curiouser just moments before we came on.
New area of showers up towards
maybe an hour before we came on.
So if you are driving up 93, you're going to run into another batch of rain. And speaking of which, out in the western part of the state, we have this cluster of thunderstorm, but you can see where it's going. It's kind of heading it south. It's heading towards Connecticut more than anything else. So that threat's going to be with us till about 9, 10 o'clock tonight, and then it's gone. But you know what? We're going to probably do it again as we head for tomorrow. As far as the humidity is concerned,
I want a live shot.
All of
Give
this
me
is just moving its way in, along with those warm temperatures. It's hot, it's humid, and thunderstorms fire up. Speaking of which, today we had dew points climbing up into the upper 60s to 70, but now we're going to go in the mid-70s. We're probably going to stay there all the way through the 4th of July weekend. So
there's a shooting suspect, so I don't know what shooting he was involved in.
A little bit of clearing overnight tonight, but still a very muggy night tonight as lows drop.
Oh my God, is this live? Did I find a live?
Tomorrow, well, it's going to be a hazy, hot, and humid day.
I think I might have. We might have a live helicopter out of Boston.
Back, everyone. We started this newscast with the breaking news
live.
about 495. We have an update here. Mass State Police say they have called for a negotiator to come in to try to end a police standoff. That is at the heart of what is causing these major traffic delays. And this is what you're seeing right now. This is the backup, the view from Sky Eye right now. And this is, again, 495 in both directions in Lowell, shut down. What we're trying to gauge is how long this will be shut down. Right now, because police
until the police shoot him.
The negotiator, they can't provide us with that information. This is obviously fluid, but as you look at this picture, if you can avoid this area, 495 near Lowell, shut down in both directions. As we get new information, we will be sure to pass it along.
And they're talking about some type of a standoff where they need a negotiator to come in. What's unclear is whether this standoff is occurring at a nearby home that is within distance of the highway, and they're just trying to be extra careful, whether it's somebody in a car.
I believe it was that truck we saw earlier.
At the moment. So right now, not only is it a police story about a standoff and a negotiator being called in, but also a major traffic story as well. As you mentioned, both sides of the highway closed down in an area that is super busy this time of day. So this is going to be something we continue to check in on to get the latest information.
And the other story.
So unfortunately, no live shot currently. If I can get an update on this, I absolutely will. You know how much I love police standoffs. Chases. Massachusetts State Police. Yeah, they don't have any info. Don't believe we've heard from Lenny yet during the stream, so I hope he is not caught in traffic. My lord, welcome in. Good evening. Now that you guys are here, we should light one up, tip one back. Oh, it is 4:20 Mountain Time. Thank you, Fuzzy. All right, let's get this out of the way. First of all, the Supreme Court, the surprise is that they didn't strike down birthright citizenship. They're allowing states to ban trans people from girls, women's sports. That is unfortunate. They've also now allowed parties to give unlimited amounts of money. Also a bad ruling. So there's your rundown. Other people are going to talk about the Supreme Court ruling. So there you go. I ran it down. I touched on it. Blah, blah, blah. Real fast, the latest update on Iran. Apparently they're sending Kushner and Witkoff to have unofficial talks.
We're back below $70 a barrel on WTI as we look for progress in talks.
This is Bloomberg, by the way. That's why she's talking about the price of a barrel
in Qatar, and the question as to whether or not that will mean oil prices continue their declines. We heard President Trump talk about that in the Oval Office yesterday.
They're going to Qatar. I think they've already left, or they're just about getting ready to leave. So we'll see how that goes. But we're doing very well on that front. But the meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not.
Let's get to it with Jeff Mason, Bloomberg White House correspondent.
Perhaps important, perhaps not. Oh my God, this guy is losing it so bad. Also yesterday, he had the... What was it he said? Hold on, let me play it for you.
400, 500%, you know that.
Will you sign that housing bill?
I have not. It hasn't been sent to me yet. It's coming, I understand, and then I'll make it. Here's what I would like to sign: much more than a bill. That big deal. It's a yawn. Some people say it's wonderful. To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn.
Just about everything is a big yawn. And he gave us the tiny hands. Look at them tiny hands.
To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn.
His tiny, discolored, bruised, ugly fucking hands.
It joins us now from the North Lawn of the White House as we wait for some news on this round of talks. Indirect, Jeff, is how they're being described. What then are Kushner?
The man was stocking up for dabs for the end of the year.
Iran
he wants to make it through Christmas.
Town, but not at the table. Who are these two gentlemen talking to?
Clip you just played, perhaps important, perhaps not. How do you interpret that? I don't know. It sounds like, for now anyway, the president and the administration are happy that any kind of talks are going on. This is part of what was laid out in the memorandum of understanding to stop the war. It's 60 days of negotiations on the nuclear program. But your question is good. What are Witkoff and Jared Kushner specifically doing? Certainly overseeing the technical level talks that could include everything from additional details on the Strait of Hormuz to the nitty-gritty on the nuclear program, which I might remind our listeners and viewers was the reason that the president and Israel went into this war in the first place.
Well, yes, the nuclear program was what they initially wanted to address, Jeff, pretty quickly. Of course, they were faced with the challenge of trying to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which the memorandum of understanding was supposed to do, but obviously that has been the subject of much contention in the days since it was signed. What is
it open? Who knows?
In the Strait, and does what Iran is saying about it match with what
there have been
the
vessels
White House is
passing,
telling you and everyone else?
Well, I think that's a good question, too.
Traffic.
Certainly the president has said repeatedly that he does not want there to be any sort of a fine system by Iran or other countries, for that matter, that would tax or tariff or put any kind of levies on ships going through the Strait. But that has been one of his biggest political and economic challenges, is essentially putting the genie back in the bottle that came as a result of this war. And by that I mean Iran was not controlling the ship that were passaging through the waterway before this war, then they learned something that they must have known all of these years, which is that they can. And that's what they've shown since the war came out, and that is exactly what the two sides are negotiating over right now. You asked what is the exact status?
They just wanted to claim a win. They wanted this to be over before that's why the 60 days, they want it over before the midterms, and they think that they can just, work backwards from the premise that it's over, I guess. A lot of shit going on, though. This old, welcome in. Jelly, welcome. Good evening, friends. I am not high enough for this shit. Are you ready to hear from the congressman who's been missing 8-9 months now? Also, now that I think about it, 8-9 months he's been missing. Did he impregnate somebody? Nancy Mace is not called back. Even after I had ChatGPT write that beautiful prose that I delivered to her last time. Well, we're running out of time. She's only going to be in Congress another 6 months. Come January, somebody else takes her seat. Representative Tom Keene is, I think, from New Jersey. Yeah, from New Jersey, the 7th District. He has been missing for months. He's going to explain himself.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today with deep gratitude for the patience, the kindness, the prayers, and the concern that have been shown to me and my family over the course of the last several months. This is not an easy speech for me to give. I am a private person by nature, and I have spent most of my life talking about the people that I represent, the issues facing our communities, and the work that continues to be done. We're talking about...
Now, C-SPAN said he last voted on March 5th, but I don't believe he was actually present for that vote. They do have a mechanism for voting remotely.
Myself has never come naturally. But I believe that I owe an explanation to the people of New Jersey's 7th District, to my colleagues in this chamber, and to the American people for my absence. Several months ago, due to health concerns, I entered the hospital for some testing. I did not believe that this would result in a long-term stay. I was given the diagnosis of depression. Now, when people hear the word depression, many people simply feel it means feeling sad. But depression
it doesn't.
So much more than that. It is physical. It is emotional. And until you experience it yourself, it is difficult to fully understand how powerful this illness can be.
And I don't want to begrudge you of that, but here's the problem: is you work for us and you have access to a level of health care that I do not. So when I have a depressive episode, I have to deal with it. And can't seek treatment, motherfucker. And you're just up here like just throwing it in everybody's face.
The doctors recommended that I remain in the hospital to address my illness. They explained to me
it does admit you into the hospital if you are feeling suicidal ideation, self-harm. If there's drug or alcohol issues related to it, it can absolutely get you sent to, I don't want to be insensitive, a mental health facility, an outpatient mental health facility. Is that it? No, outpatient is not overnight. An inpatient, an involuntary in some cases. He could be covering for something. Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't buy this. But I also don't want to discount depression as a real thing. I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
That this would be the fastest way to recovery. And to be honest, I was hesitant. I didn't think that I had time for it. I had responsibilities to my family. I had responsibilities to my constituents. I had responsibilities to this institution. And like many people, I believed that I could simply push through. But I agreed to follow my doctor's recommendations. Again, not believing that it would result in a long-term stay. I began to understand not only my diagnosis, but how long depression had been affecting my life. When I first informed the public that I was dealing with a medical issue, I was still trying to understand what was happening myself. When I said I hoped to return in a matter of weeks, I believed it. Those were the best estimates the doctors could provide. But as the over 48 million of my fellow Americans being treated for this illness have come to discover, there is no timeline for healing. There is no timeline for recovery. Only the work of getting better, one day at a time. Today, I am grateful that I listened to my doctors. And I'm grateful for the exceptional care that I received from doctors, nurses.
Yeah, exceptional care that we don't have access to, that you could vote and give us access to.
Because today I stand before you healthier, stronger, and excited.
Yeah, we want
to return
that.
to the work that I love. I've always been a supporter of mental health care. During my time in the New Jersey legislature, I worked to advance mental health parity. I believed in the cause then, and I understand it in a far more personal way now. This experience has given me a deeper appreciation for the millions of Americans who face these challenges each and every day.
We should be able to do more than throw tomatoes. Llama, good evening. I didn't want to comment on his speech. I don't know if there was something I wouldn't want to say that he's slurring. I thought it was a bit of an accent. Also, Llama, good evening. I don't know if anybody else snuck in here on me. Tentacle Girl, good evening. Good to see you, darling. We got some spicy clips coming up. We're going to do probably the most tame clip first. This is the budget director, Russell Vogt, the author of Project 2025, testifying in front of Congress, getting grilled by Representative Mark Pocan.
I think many of us disagree with the first time in 250 years history of the country, the unified executive theory. So let me drill into one area to ask. Do you concur that multiple studies have shown that people, both adults and children across the globe, have died because of cuts to programs like USAID?
I do not concur with the validity of those studies. They are based on
Do you agree that people have died across the globe because of our cuts?
I believe these studies that people are banting about.
My question is, do you believe people have died because of the cuts to USAID? It's simple, yes or no.
Welcome in, Park Horse.
The administration.
You don't believe anyone's died?
Let me finish the question.
No, it's a yes or no.
It isn't.
Doctor, it's really simple. Do you think people died or not?
Cuts are aimed at.
All right, you're not going to answer it. I would claim my time. I thought you were going to be a little more helpful, Director Vogt, but that's fine. So this is Boston studies, Lancet studies. Others have said hundreds of thousands to millions of kids and adults will die because of this. One of your co-conspirators, Elon Musk, recently has been going nuts trying to claim no one's died, and he has to name names. So let me mention a few people who've died because of these cuts. Rovina,
co-conspirator
in Kenya, her little daughter Jane died of starvation in a refugee camp because we cut back on their food and the food rations. She got sick and died. Ugana Balama in Nigeria, USAID-funded program, Babies a Special Nutrient-Dense Paste, to avoid malnutrition. She had twins, 6 months old. The program ended abruptly because of cuts to USAID. 2 weeks later, one of the twins died. I've got a bunch more. Are you familiar with any of these stories?
$13.4 million for civic engagement.
Are you familiar with any of these stories? There's no number involved in that answer, Director Vogt.
You're citing.
Are you familiar with any of these stories? I just gave you 2 examples. Are you familiar? It's a yes or no.
I am
Don't
familiar.
dance. You're not a tap dancer. Are you familiar with the stories? It's really that simple.
I am familiar with the press that you are.
How do we know that he is not a tap dancer? He looks like he could have done tap in his earlier life. I don't judge him.
Ended abruptly because of cuts to USAID. 2 weeks later, one of the twins died. I've got a bunch more. Are you familiar with any of these stories?
$13.4 million for civic engagement.
Are you familiar with any of these stories? There's no number involved in that answer, Director Vogt.
You're citing.
Are you familiar with any of these stories? I just gave you 2 examples. Are you familiar? It's a yes or no.
I am
Don't
familiar.
dance. You're not a tap dancer. Are you familiar with the stories? It's really that simple.
I am familiar with the press that you are citing. The reports that you are also referring to are fake
I take my time back. You're clearly not going to answer questions
Fake
today.
methodologies.
Answer questions. You're not. So, will you commit to reach out if I submit some of these names of people who have allegedly died due to cuts? Will you personally reach out to find out if they have, since you're saying no one's died?
I will personally read all correspondence that Congress gives me and do everything I can to be responsive to them.
Yeah. And could you reach out to them to actually verify whether or not someone's died because of a cut to USAID?
We're monitoring all of these studies to see if there's validity, but there is nothing about those studies that has caused us to think differently about ending
morally,
that's
all right.
to build climate resilience in Honduras.
Take my time back, please. Morally, isn't it wrong to facilitate the death of children?
Isn't it morally wrong to
That's a
contribute
question
to civic
coming back with
engagement in Zimbabwe?
Look, you're not Confucius or whatever you think you are, answering a question with a question. I said, is it morally wrong to facilitate the killing of children?
You're basing
Simple question.
You're basing it on a premise that is false. I'm not going to answer that question.
Take my time back. You wrote in a 2021 article in Newsweek about Christian nationalism that our rights and duties are understood to come from God. Isaiah 58:7 commands, quote, share your food with the hungry and provide the poor wanderer with shelter. Are you saying God was misquoted or wrong?
I'm sorry. What does that have to do with the question with regard to our
It's
administration?
morally wrong to facilitate the death of children. I think
we're not doing
everyone.
We're not doing that.
Like that's why I'm asking you to reach out to folks. But what I'm saying is, if that is a quote from the Bible, and I know you are a Christian nationalist by declaration, by articles.
Second year in a row that you've used that slander for
it's
me
not slander. You think that's slander?
You and other Christians.
You think calling someone a Christian nationalist is a slander? You
You
wrote an article. Is there anything actually wrong with Christian nationalism? And now you're saying it's a slander? That's really odd.
I don't pejorative, and it's the second year you've done it.
Would you agree that it is wrong?
I mean, I do believe it's a pejorative.
Ethically, or by your own admission, biblical standards, is it wrong to facilitate the death of children? That's
We're not
really
doing that. We have adequate foreign aid for this.
You're not answering the question. Listen to the question, please. Is it morally, ethically, or biblically wrong to facilitate the death of children? Don't take anything else in context. Is it wrong?
This administration is not doing that.
You cannot answer a question. I mean, I
believe he answered the question. You just don't like the answer. So
no, he hasn't. No, Mr. Chairman, you can ask your own questions and get your own answers, but if he's not going to give an answer,
then move on.
Everyone else can figure out. No, I don't have to move on. I can ask the question, and if this guy is going to, say Christian nationalism is an insult, you might have some friends to answer to that one for, but to say the sort of stuff and not answer questions directly, it is morally, ethically, and biblically wrong to facilitate the death
5
of
minutes
children.
are up. Now recognize the chair. Recognize Ms. Henson.
We got a good dose of Christian nationalism coming up later in the show. I promise you. Representative DeLauro also going after Russell Vogt in another heated exchange.
Mr. DeLauro, to wrap this up.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think you've made clear, Director, that that you are not going to really carry out the spending laws as Congress intended. And that really is very, very troubling. Look, we've already seen OMB implementing political review of grants. It's led to massive delays at NSF, the NIH. NIH has had about a 34% decrease in new awards in 2026 compared to what they've done in the past. And we understand that the decrease is due to new layers of political review at the NIH, at HHS, OMB, as well as the Office of Extramural Research, directives limiting the number of funding opportunities that are allowed. There have been cases where people are still awaiting approval, and political appointees have really denied the award going forward. The same problem is occurring across the government. Interior, Homeland. What is a government-wide problem? What can you do to address it? Where is the holdup? And quite frankly, how
I made a video the other day where I called her a purple-haired dim just because I would
government
get
efficiency.
clickbait.
Congressman,
I
one
like
of the things I
DeLauro.
heard constantly when we were considering the rescission
I think she looks
package
very
last
stylish.
year, of which you all opposed, but one of the things I heard was, why wouldn't you just eliminate just the small things that you have concerns with and not actually take the number down lower? And the way that we do that, the way that we provide good oversight of federal dollars is to be able to assess and review how the agencies intend to spend the money. And
Well-
that takes time. You don't do that in the middle of a 30-day period
Well,
after you pass the appropriations.
With all due respect, Mr. Director, my heavens, we haven't seen spend plans. That has been one of the big problems. This committee hasn't even seen spend plans that we're supposed to, get. And so there's a point is, and this rule that is really in the process of comment, which you won't extend the timing on, is really specific about who is going to review the grants, not on merit, but they're going to go through a political lens. And there's all kinds of restrictions on these grant awards. That is reverting a process, as I said earlier, that has been established after the Second World War.
Can I give you an analogy? An analogy is that when I do the budget for the president, do you think I don't rely on the career staff? Do you think I'm?
Well, look,
It has a
with all due
political
respect, I got
responsibility
5 seconds
for the
left.
line item.
5 seconds left. It is about political appointees making the decision, not people based who know the evidence, and not based on, and particularly in health and science, not based on the science of the award that's happened everywhere. I can quote you. I can talk to you and talk offline about what's been denied at Yale University that has to do with HIV suppression, Tourette's, etc. Don't tell me that they do not meet the government's priorities or the president's priorities. This is not to deal with Tourette's syndrome, to deal with OCD is not about somebody wasting money. This is science. It's reviewed as it has been over 75 years when these awards have been made, and you are all in the business of reversing that and putting all of these grants through a political lens and someone's political ideology. It's wrong, and we're not going to let it happen. I yield back.
Wrong.
Would you care to answer?
I would just say that there was an election. The president was put in charge of the executive branch.
The Constitution,
He has oversight.
the Constitution
He has
says
oversight
that
over
the appropriations
federal
process is the power of the purse. You are ignoring that. You flout the Constitution every single day, and you have been doing it for the last year and a half. And we, again, not going to continue to allow that to happen. No president has the right to just violate the United States Constitution. And no member of this committee does that, but the administration is doing it regularly.
Trying to get an update on the standoff in Boston that shut down 495, both lanes. They had brought in a negotiator last we'd heard. That was about an hour and a half ago. Still no update. Do not have a live shot on that. Would love to know what's going on. Once I find out, I will let you know. Especially if we get some video. More fireworks coming out of the House today. They had a oversight hearing on MK Ultra, led by my GOP mommy, Anna Polina Luna.
Hearing from the Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets will come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. This hearing is about the crimes committed by the Central Intelligence Agency against the American citizens and the decades of secrecy used to conceal them. The American people deserve a complete and truthful record. The victims and their families deserve acknowledgement, and this Congress has a constitutional obligation to ensure that full declassification is not delayed any longer. Project MKUltra was not a policy failure or an overzealous program that got out of hand. It was a deliberate, systematic governmental operation that subjected American citizens, prisoners, hospital patients, veterans, ordinary people to LSD, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, psychological torture without their knowledge or consent. This went on for 20 years on American soil, funded by American taxpayer dollars and authorized by the very top of U.S. intelligence apparatus. And this program, when it did end, the men who ran it did not cooperate with investigators.
There was this tweet last night, just kind of out of the blue, that raised my eyebrows. U.S. intelligence reports have found no credible public evidence that the CIA has been involved in systematically rigging or altering any American domestic election. Just kind of out of the blue. Intelligence reports, U.S. intelligence reports. Who's in charge of those intelligence reports? Would that be the CIA? Office of National Intelligence? You guys investigated yourselves? Sounds legit. But I guess it had to do with this hearing today. Now that I'm putting the pieces together.
They committed another crime. They destroyed evidence. The documents this task force has reviewed are unambiguous. In January 1973, the director of the CIA, Richard Helms, prepared to leave office. He personally ordered the destruction of MKUltra records. The CIA official document in writing states, over my stated objectives, the MKUltra files were destroyed by the order of DCI Mr. Helms shortly before his departure from office. A separate internal account confirms that Helms telephoned Dr. Gottlieb directly and instructed him to destroy, quote, all files pertaining to drug research and associated activities. Gottlieb compiled 4 people, spent an entire day tearing, burning down 152 files. Then Gottlieb had his personal papers destroyed by his secretary before he retired. The head of the CIA-owned records center protested the destruction in writing, but he was overruled. That is obstruction of justice. That is criminal destruction of federal records, and neither individuals were ever charged with a crime for it. Helms received a $2,000 fine for lying to Congress about an unrelated matter and collected his government pension until he died. Gottlieb retired in rural Virginia and wrote poetry. No one went to prison. No victim was ever formally compensated by the government for the harm that they caused. By 1975, the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission had already established through sworn testimony and the surviving 1963 Inspector General report that MKUltra existed and that the CIA had run a program of human experimentation on unwitting Americans. The scope and detail of what we know today is largely because of an accident. In 1977, an archivist diligently complying with a FOIA request discovered 7 boxes of MKUltra financial records that had been misfiled and escaped the bonfire. Those 7 boxes included the names of institutions, the name of subprojects, the researchers who participated, the specific operation that the CIA had funded, and without them, the vast majority of MKUltra would only be a rumor, just as Helms and Gottlieb intended. Those 7 boxes revealed that MKUltra comprised at least 149 subprojects, operated across more than 80 institutions, and involved 185 non-government researchers. They revealed that the CIA covertly contributed $375,000 to a hospital research wing, which was approved directly by DCI Alan Dulles, which Richard Helms Concurrence so the agency could use unwitting patients as experimental subjects in what their own documents called a hospital safe house. The CIA's Inspector General said in 1963 his classified report concluded that the program had exceeded the agency's legal chapter, and covert testing on unwitting subjects placed the rights and interests of U.S. citizens in jeopardy. The program ran for a decade that we know of, and they ignored their own watchdog. Let me be clear what I believe that we are dealing with here. Administering drugs to people without their knowledge or consent, subjecting humans to psychological torture, and using prisoners and hospital patients as non-consenting research subjects. These are crimes against humanity. The Central Intelligence Agency committed them, and then the director of the CIA was ordered the destruction of evidence. Today we will hear from two witnesses who have spent years unraveling the cover-up that our government ordered. Stephen Kinzer documented the life and crimes of Sidney Gottlieb in his book Prisoner of Chief, and Tom O'Neill spent over 20 years investigating what the CIA buried and what they obscured that, in my mind, constitutes some of the worst
O'Neill. We're going to hear from him
against
next.
humanity in the 20th century. Their persistence in the research in this hearing is possible simply because they are patriots. The American people deserve the complete record. The victims and their families deserve acknowledgement, accountability, and justice.
And she was a Maxim
Congress
model.
has a constitutional obligation to make sure that the CIA never does this again. With that,
she has a really nice ass. That's her credentials.
To Representative Burleson, but before I do pass it, I did want to just note a few weeks ago we did receive reports. There's some back and forth regarding the CIA and ODNI pertaining to new MK Ultra boxes that were discovered. Myself and Representative Burleson did go down to Langley. We did meet with the CIA, and the CIA is currently in the process of declassifying newly found documentation, although the documents, and I feel comfortable enough to share it here, pertain specifically to a forgery program that was being housed under MK Ultra. So as soon as those files are released, we will be putting out notification with your help to also comb through some of the newly released documents, but I did want to give you a quick update.
Yeah, I think that was her.
I would like to representative, or I would
Code
like to
Pink was
now
behind her, and she said she was going to file a claim for assault.
Go ahead. Without objection, Representative Perry and Representative Higgins.
It was pitiful.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 1-202-225-5961. Not available. At the tone.
That sounded like a Google Voice number. What? We'll call her district office. That was her DC office. That was the right number.
Thank you for contacting Representative Luna's district office. Our district staff has been inundated with inquiries to help constituents resolve their issues with federal agencies. So we encourage you to visit our website, luna.house.gov/contact, to place an inquiry or to leave questions and concerns for Representative Luna. You can also leave a message at the tone as well. Please leave your full name, address, and phone number, and the topic of your message. But we encourage written correspondence through our website, luna.house.gov/contact, for faster review by our staff. The Congresswoman and her staff care deeply about the issues that our constituents and community are facing in Florida's 13th Congressional District. Thank you.
Hey, Congresswoman Luna, this is Justin FREAKIN. I would just like to recognize myself, like you did earlier today when you were chairing the committee hearing on MK Ultra. And I would like to recognize myself to sneak into your inbox and tell you how nice of an ass you have. And you better be glad you have a nice ass, because you're not very good at leading a hearing. Also, I'm really interested to know, are you just finding out about MK Ultra like now? Like, you got into government and you read a book on MK Ultra? Like, seriously? Like, did you just now realize the CIA has been fucking with American citizens? I'm flabbergasted that it took you this long. Anyway, you're still attractive. You still look nice chairing the committee hearing, but you really ought to find a different line of work. You're not cut out to be a congresswoman, especially after the whole debacle with the Code Pink woman the other day. That was embarrassing. I'd still take you out on a date, though. If you want to call me back, 917-830-4359. This is Justin Freakin from the Troll Patrol Live. Thank you, Congresswoman Luna. Hope to talk to you soon.
Like, I mean, why is everybody so horny here?
Lenny, welcome in, my friend. We were just covering the standoff going on in Boston. It has both sides of 495 shut down. Once again, I am respectful of Joni Ernst. Other congresswomen I've called that don't have maximum spreads where you can see their ass cheeks. Depending on your level of public sexuality, I meet it. I feel like when I called Lauren Boebert, I met her with the appropriate amount of horniness.
Like, I mean, why is everybody so horny here?
I'm glad to have you back, busting my balls. This was the investigative journalist who apparently has a book out. I'm gonna die if he's like, in my book, I cover this. This is Mr. O'Neill, investigative journalist on MK Ultra.
50 years ago, the last congressional hearings into MK Ultra took place just a short walk from here in the Dirksen Senate office building. At those hearings, convened in August and September of 1977, representatives of the CIA told Congress and the American people that its 25-year effort to control human behavior had been a colossal failure. Because I believe Congress was never told the truth about what this program actually achieved. In fact, I believe the agency misled Congress in 1977
what do you think they achieved?
When it characterized MK Ultra as a failure. My name is Tom O'Neill, and in 1999, I accepted a magazine assignment to write a story about murders committed by a group of hippies called the Manson family. For those unfamiliar with this horrific episode of American history, in the summer of 1969, 4 young people acting on the orders of a cult leader named Charles Manson went to the home of movie director Roman Polanski and murdered everyone they found there, including his 8.5-month pregnant wife, the actress Sharon Tate. The victims were complete strangers to their killers. The following night, Manson's followers murdered another couple in the same grisly fashion. At the time I accepted the assignment, I'd never heard of MK Ultra, and I wouldn't for another 2 years.
Is he going to tell us the government did it?
Countless deadlines, lost the assignment, and fallen down a nightmarish rabbit hole
family
trying
doing
to
some
answer
government
the
acid?
question I couldn't quite shake. How had Manson, a barely literate ex-con, acquired the ability to persuade ordinary young people to murder complete strangers simply because he had told them to?
How did Trump, a barely literate ex-con?
The pursuit of the answer to that question led me to Dr. Louis Julian West, known to his friends as Jolly.
Convince everybody that he could be president.
Influential psychiatrist in America. During his career, he crossed paths with some of the most controversial events of the 20th century, including the Patty Hearst kidnapping case and the aftermath of the John F. Kennedy assassination investigation. In 1977, West was one of 7 academic
I just thought all this
named
shit was already
New
known.
York Times story alleging that the CIA had used American universities, hospitals, and prisons as secret laboratories for experiments involving LSD and other drugs on unwitting human subjects. West vigorously denied the allegation.
I feel like I've done a bad job. Welcome in of like really hooking people with the titles. You will indeed get a mom charged because of her 7-year-old that was 255 pounds. You'll get mutant rats. You'll get baby Hitler. It's all here. Don't worry. We're getting to it. But we're doing, apparently government acid made the Manson family kill the Sharon Tate and her associates.
He acknowledged that the agency had approached him, but insisted he had refused because he said LSD was too dangerous and unpredictable to be used on humans. He added that he limited all of his research with LSD to animals. The revelations in the Times led directly to the congressional hearings held later that year. West's denials, however,
Your job being to get fucking animals high, make them trip
and his
balls.
name never came up at the hearings. I'll spare you the long and tedious story of how my Manson reporting led me to West, except to say that I eventually learned that in 1967, when Manson transformed into the cult leader we are familiar with today, he and his followers were receiving free medical care at a clinic in San Francisco, where West had established a base of operations for a research project he was conducting nearby. After becoming intrigued by the allegations against West, I learned that UCLA, his last academic home, had inherited his paper following his death in 1999. Nearly 2 months and more than 200 boxes later, I found the proverbial needle in a haystack. Correspondence between West and Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, the architect of MKUltra. The letters begin in 1953, just 2 months after CIA Director Allen Dulles authorized the program, and while West was stationed at the Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, where he was chief psychiatrist at the base hospital. In his first letter to Gottlieb, West proposed conducting experiments on unwitting human subjects, including military personnel, prisoners, and psychiatric patients at the base hospital.
Oh, Flash, that dude totally looks like he has a podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, let me pull out this job for you. This guy with the beard and the anime hat, like, he sticks out. Who is he? I've got to know as well. I think he's on his phone right now. Themselves,
and 6 more pages that could have been written by Joseph Mengele. Using LSD in combination with hypnosis, West proposed inducing confusion, amnesia, and specific mental disorders in people who would remember nothing of their interaction with him afterward.
He's left over from the fights the other day. He just wandered into the hearing.
Information and implant false information in unwilling subjects and to alter the attitudes and beliefs of, quote, previously loyal individuals. In other words, to completely switch their allegiance from one group or leader to another. But it was another sentence at the end of that letter that stopped me cold. These experiments, he wrote, must eventually be put to test in practical trials in the field. Gottlieb's response could hardly have been more enthusiastic. My good friend, he wrote, I had been wondering whether your apparent rapid and comprehensive grasp of our problems could possibly be real. You have indeed developed an admirably accurate picture of exactly what we are after. West replied that there was no more vital undertaking conceivable in these times. There was another document in West's papers that had even more significant implications.
Brother, you're boring me. Get to the good stuff.
A 14-page report that West wrote in 1956, just 3 years after he contracted with the CIA. In the report, West described administering
there is
LSD
no one at this hearing
in conjunction with hypnosis on unwitting human subjects, and then he made a remarkable claim. He announced that he had learned how to replace true memories with false memories in people without their knowledge. In other words, he clarified, it has been found to be feasible to take the memory of a definite event in the life of an individual and through hypnotic suggestion bring about the subsequent conscious
It
recall.
was all public knowledge. I swear they declassified all this shit years ago. There have been books upon books written about it, like The Men Who Stare at Goats. Like the George Clooney movie was 20 fucking years ago. Like there is no new information here. Brooks, welcome in. Thank you for being a freaking follower. Now that you're here, we should totally get high.
You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
No, not that kind of high. Not that kind of high.
You're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in.
They declassified all this shit in like the 90s. I just don't think there's fertile ground on the MK Ultra, but apparently Tim Burchett, our boy from Tennessee, got applause for something he said during the hearing.
Representative Burchett for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Thank you all for being here. I remembered when all the talk about MK Ultra broke, and then they were talking about lawsuits, and there were lawsuits, and the CIA and the federal government said that this didn't exist, and then they came back and said, well, it does exist, and then, but we're not doing it anymore. I guess my question to y'all first is, which lie do we believe? Because, thank you. Obviously, there was an open bar before this thing started, so thank y'all. But, Dr. Kinzer? Hit your mic, brother. You're not on the mic. It's an old CIA trick. I'm just kidding.
I put myself in the place of one of those senior CIA
Suffer and
officers,
suck a
and
task.
I'm thinking to myself, like the ones back in the 1950s, well, other people must be doing this. We'd be falling behind if we don't do it. And nobody's looking over our shoulders. And that, I think, is your job. So I think there is a definite air of urgency and total secrecy. If any current research is going on, and if it's conducted in any comparable level of secrecy to the original MK Ultra, it's very deeply secret.
But one thing you said, though, it's going to be hard for Congress to act when they're so dadgum compromised.
Dadgum.
Let's just be honest. I mean, y'all are in the business of twisting ears and telling us things that we've done, and that sways a lot of people up here. Somebody doesn't want to wreck a marriage or their business or lose this glamorous job that we have. And so I suspect that has a lot of play into it. Sorry to interrupt you.
Glamorous job.
All I mean to say is that I think if there are such projects going on inside the U.S. government, there might be a sense
This was
that,
the voice of
we can do
Daffy
this
Duck on Tiny
without
Toons.
any hostile supervision.
What are the possibilities that what we've learned in MK Ultra, now that it has advanced so much to algorithms and the computer and getting to
computer
loners, that some of these loners could, through this just mass propagation of whatever you're doing, could cause someone to maybe take a shot at a president?
I know there's a lot of speculation out there about the Butler shooting, and I guess even the Charlie Kirk shooting. I just hate to speculate because I don't know. I have no firsthand knowledge whether those guys were programmed through radio waves or through their computer activity. So I would never hazard a guess, except to say what I've already said, that they developed means that we've never been told about, many, many years ago, and I imagine they've evolved to be much more effective now. So
Let me
anything's
interrupt you
possible.
one more time, and I apologize again. But don't you think that they could cast this broad net through these algorithms and other things, and maybe they don't know the exact person it's going to affect, but they know what type of person it's going to affect, and they know it's going to happen, and that way they can.
Old Charlie.
They can't predict when it's going to happen, but they think it will happen, and then that way they can.
I guess
sort of
young
wash their
Charlie.
hands
He'll
of this
never be
whole
old.
thing. So we didn't have anything to do with it, but in effect they really did, because they put this out there, and they continue to put it out there. To what other method you're talking about? Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry, ma'am. If you want to jump in.
Within IH.
Okay, doctor, go ahead.
It sounds to me like you're describing something like the Martin Luther King assassination. The FBI didn't carry it out, but it created such a climate just denouncing King as the most dangerous man in America and putting out all this material about how he was helping communists.
I mean, they were trying to get him to kill himself.
It's going to filter down. Somebody will take action, and then we can say we didn't have anything to do with it.
And James Earl Ray was a third-rate thief. He made an incredible shot, 1 foot on a commode, 1 foot in a bathtub, leaning out of a window, basically. And the next day, or that afternoon, all the shrubbery was cut in front of the flop house he was staying in. There's a lot on that one that will never be discussed. I have some friends that were there, so I guess I'm on pretty close to firsthand knowledge. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm probably going to get audited when I walk out of the room. I know it. So
Get some friends that were there,
Thank
what,
you.
70 years ago,
maybe
or
I'll
almost
yield
70
back
years
my 4
ago?
seconds.
Thank you, Rep.
Jesus. Borg. Barrett King. Well, snuck in here on me. Flo. Good evening. Just another day in fascist USA. Nun arrested by ICE on her way to Mass has now been released. In Texas, released from immigration custody. Sister Letitia Agbuja was walking to Sunday Mass near the U.S.-Mexico border when she was arrested. Another case of just racial profiling, I'm sure. She was released a day later after Congress members, including Republican Representative Monica de la Cruz, intervened on her behalf.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News
Shut
app
up,
or watch
Tom
live
Llama.
on our YouTube channel.
They arrested a fucking nun. Evil, welcome in. Fragwitz. Probably thought it was a hijab. ICE is saying they refuse to comply with the mask ordinance passed in Minnesota, saying that federal agents are not allowed to mask up. ICE says, fuck you.
Police department confirming ICE agents are in Milwaukee for what they're calling targeted enforcement for criminal activity.
Why do they have to wear masks? We're not walking around covering ourselves, so why are they covering themselves?
This operation has city leaders and some in the Latino community calling for accountability. Some of those agents are seen on cell phone video wearing face masks. Milwaukee's Common Council passed an ordinance 2 months ago banning law enforcement from wearing masks while on duty in the city. Ben Jordan shares why an alderwoman thinks masked agents should face fines and why ICE says it will disregard the city's ban.
¿Cuál es su nombre? Cell phone video from around noon on Sunday at 27th and Lincoln appears to show 4 masked law enforcement agents surrounding a white SUV before taking a man into custody. 23rd and Greenfield. A separate video from 23rd and Greenfield from the
Milwaukee,
weekend.
this is in Wisconsin.
Agent wearing a face mask from afar.
It's very heartbreaking because I could definitely relate.
This Milwaukee woman asked us not to share her name or show her face out of fear for her family.
When you see they are wearing face masks, what does that tell you?
It just feels like they're doing whatever they want, and we just have to take it in the chin, and I don't know, it's just not right.
Due to a city ordinance, federal law enforcement officers are locally prohibited from wearing face masks to hide their identities under most circumstances while interacting with people in Milwaukee.
In my district,
Alderwoman Jocasta Zamaripa believes that ban should be enforced, with the potential for agents to face $5,000 to $10,000 fines.
it breeds fear in the community to see these masked agents coming into our neighborhoods.
A U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson tells me ICE will not comply with Milwaukee's face mask ban for safety reasons. Quote, state and local sanctuary politicians attempting to ban
sanctuary politicians
from wearing masks is despicable and a flagrant attempt to endanger our officers. To be crystal clear, we will not abide by unconstitutional bans. Zamaripa argues otherwise.
It is legal and enforceable according to the Office of the City Attorney. And so I stand by the ordinance that we passed. If they continue to work here in a secret capacity with full masks on like I've seen, then we are asking MPD and the City Attorney to act as the enforcement entity and write citations to ICE.
While ICE provided me with a statement about its opposition to face masks, it has not answered my questions yet about how many arrests have been made during this targeted enforcement in Milwaukee and what those arrests were for. Reporting on Milwaukee's South Side, Ben Jordan, TMJ4 News.
Ben,
sanctuary city policies was the topic of discussion when Jamie Raskin went at it with Representative Mike Lawler, this slimy piece of shit. This also happening earlier today.
He should have been deported right then and there.
Point of order, this is not an introduction.
By our federal laws.
Point of order, this is not an introduction, it's a speech.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Mr.
Chairman, disgraceful.
Mr. Chairman, yes, for ruling on the point of order.
Mr. Chairman, precisely because you have failed to do your job.
Yes,
Mr. You wonder why we had 4 hearings? It's because you don't understand the consequence of sanctuary policy.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, we won't give our approval for people to introduce their constituents if people don't stick to the rules. So I appreciate the chairman's insistence that we stick to the rules and that you have the opportunity to introduce your constituent, which I think
and
you have
introducing
done.
my constituent
so thank you very much, Mr. Lawler and Mr. Chairman.
Sharing the details of her death. You may not want to hear the details. It may be an inconvenience to you, but these details matter.
The gentleman will suspend. We have an agreement with the minority that the introductions will be introductory only. So if I could just ask for the gentleman to make that introduction and conclude.
Please.
Sure.
Lawler here wasn't following the rules, but he's going to cry victim, of course.
When you send your kid to college, you should be worried about making sure they go to class, or hopefully that they have a nice roommate, or how to help them get a summer internship. Not worried that illegal immigrants are shooting them while they're out with their friends looking at the northern lights. It is shameful that we are here. Not because this is the 4th hearing, but because we need to have 4 hearings to make people understand the real-life consequences of the disastrous sanctuary city policies. So while some of my colleagues may not want to hear the truth, the same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, you should feel about Sheridan Gorman and Laken Riley and every Angel family in this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not. Because if you did, you would not support
sanctuary. Do you feel
the
outrage about Alex Preddy and Renee Good? You should be ashamed. You don't belong in this committee. You should get the hell out of here. You don't understand the rules of the committee. You don't understand the Constitution.
You're a disgrace.
Mr. Raskin,
You're an absolute disgrace supporting sanctuary policy.
Say one word about
Get rid of sanctuary
about Alex Preddy.
I did. I wrote a whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should
be
justifying it
yourself.
For not opposing sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee will be in order.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say we will not allow, thanks to Mr. Lawler's outrageous outburst, we will not allow this to happen again. This was an agreement between the chair and the ranking member, and unfortunately, you're not able to control your members, so it is time for us to proceed.
Your opening statement was outrageous. You should be ashamed of yourself. I yield back.
Get off of it.
Let's try to conduct our...
So what happened was Lawler was not there for Raskin's intro, and Raskin absolutely mentioned the victims, but that didn't stop Lawler from leaving the floor of the House to go cry on Fox News.
I mean, it's shocking. It's shocking that they would do this in front of a grieving mother. What happened?
It's disgraceful. I listened to Pramila Jayapal's outrageous opening statement, followed by Jamie Raskin, in which, as Jessica Gorman just pointed out, they said, "We're sorry for your loss, but..." And then they dismissed the fact that these angel families were here and were complaining that this is the fourth hearing that the committee is having on sanctuary policies. But clearly, they have learned nothing from any of these hearings because they continue to support sanctuary jurisdictions. What these idiots don't seem to grasp is the fact that sanctuary policies are resulting in the deaths of Americans.
I mean, it's shocking.
Now, here is the thing that Fox News never does, is tell you what sanctuary policy actually is. And that's why they do a disservice to their audience. They just tell you sanctuary city, and they make it sound scary. Like, oh, you can just go to a sanctuary city and commit crime, but that is not what it means at all. It means that if you are in this country illegally and you witness a crime and you cooperate with law enforcement, they won't question your legal status. Or if you need a service from the city, say you have a child who is malnourished and you need some sort of assistance from the city, you can go and receive that assistance and not have your legal status questioned. So the sanctuary policy actually saved lives by allowing people who may be here illegally for whatever reason to be able to cooperate with law enforcement as witnesses to report crime, or to be able to interact with any of the services that they may need in order to support their families. Brooks, what are you talking about? The only free speech you see on Twitch is Jesus, huh? I'm not sure. Amen, though. And the bigotry and self-righteous indignation that Mike Lawler throws out into the public is what leads to assholes that aren't informed on what sanctuary policy is, and they are racist against people of color, to go and do stupid shit like this. Two sisters are speaking out after they were harassed. There's apparently video of it.
Tonight, two sisters speaking out exclusively to KARE 11 after a now viral TikTok video that appears to show Shakopee residents yell at Somali homebuyers.
Nobody wants you here.
Really? Really?
Not a single person here wants
really?
you.
Oh my God, please get a petition or something.
From here.
So the incident has been viewed nearly 2 million times and counting on TikTok tonight. Joe McCoy has the story.
Where'd you get your money for the house?
Your mom.
With more than 1.7 million views on TikTok.
Worry about your own money.
This video, taken Monday, of a Shakopee couple in a verbal confrontation with a Somali family, has spread far and wide.
I mean, it's heartbreaking, honestly.
Sisters Hamdi and Samaya were driving away from touring a home in Shakopee when they say the couple approached them.
We don't want you guys here. We don't want you guys. That was our first interaction. It wasn't even a hi, what are you guys doing here?
Really?
Not a single person here wants
Really?
you.
Tensions escalated from there as video shows the couple accused the girls of stealing money.
Yeah, that's all you do is steal.
Did I steal your money?
You steal.
See, that's the goddamn Nick Shirley right-wing Somalis are stealing your money. And then idiots that don't know what they're talking about hear this shit and go out and harass people. It is beyond disgusting.
Really?
Tensions escalated from there as video shows the couple accuse the girls of stealing money.
That's all you do is steal.
Did I steal money? Did I steal your money?
You steal.
To just take a group and say the entire Somali population does fraud, it's very heartbreaking. We've been in this country. We were born and raised here.
Clearly, listen to them talk. They speak English better than a lot of people I know. They clearly have been here their entire lives.
Been here for a very long time. We don't own any businesses. We are very hardworking individuals.
Joe with Care 11.
We went to the couple's home. They declined to comment and deferred me to their lawyer.
Thank you.
In a statement, their lawyer said, quote, "This incomplete video is being used to coordinate a cyberbullying campaign against an honest, patriotic, kind, and hardworking family." The statement goes on to say the video lacks critical context and that the couple was provoked and had racial slurs said to them.
Bullshit. The white people had racial slurs said to them. Bull fucking shit. You have got to be kidding me.
Honest, patriotic, kind, and hardworking family. The statement goes on to say the video lacks critical context and that the couple was provoked and had racial slurs said to them. The lawyer says the couple will pursue all legal actions against individuals that have bullied, harassed, or tortured the couple and have contacted law enforcement to pursue any potential criminal charges.
To say provoked is kind of crazy. You guys came up to us. We were driving. You guys walked up to the car.
I'm confused. Nobody bothered you guys. You guys decide to be in people's business?
The sisters plan to file a police report against the couple.
To carry that hatred in your heart already for people of color, honestly, it's like, what are you capable of?
These poor women.
In a statement, DFL House member Brad Tapke, who represents the area, said, quote, "I don't get why this guy would go out of his way to harass people for simply being Somali. This is the product of irresponsible leaders dehumanizing an entire group of people for the way they look or talk." Kevin.
This is, everyone's talking about this. This is tough to watch.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And then you get these goddamn religious fanatics. The Christian nationalists. Are you prepared for this? Allow me to hit the content warning. This was a church in Kentucky. A church in Kentucky. They posted this. They have taken their version of the video down. I had to go find it from somebody else. A church in Kentucky. Prepare yourselves.
Take me out, blow him up. Take me out, blow him up.
I love this. I've been thinking about this all day. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's after 4? 5, 6. What's after 6? 7, 8.
The pastor is going to explain himself to us. He's going to tell us exactly what we saw. If you watch the movie Jesus Camp in the mid-2000s, that is what it reminds me of. Kentucky Church Bible School, the kids chant, "Take him out, blow him up." during a mock firing squad. The disturbing viral video shows children at Mount Olive Baptist Church chanting, "Take him out, blow him up," as men dressed in military gear point guns and pretend to shoot multiple rounds into a man lying on stage. You can see the pastor leading the chant during the mock execution. The kids giggle and laugh while the mock firing squad victim gets dragged off stage and outside. Once the men are outside, the pastor stands by the door and leads the kids through a count, and then they hear a pop from outside, causing the kids to scream. Even though it's not real, it's still tough to watch. This is the pastor, who looks exactly like you would expect, giving his explanation to TMZ, apparently.
And a good day to you,
Oh,
my
no.
friends.
This was posted on the church's Facebook page. That's what it was. Posted to the church's Facebook page, responding to the backlash.
And a good day to you, my friends. And just a thought from the pastor study. I want to address this firestorm concerning the clip that's been sent, I guess, everywhere. I'm quite frankly befuddled. The misinformation out there it's sad. And I guess it's a part of what this generation has become. And concerning the clip that has been shared.
What the part of what this generation has become, the misinformation? I'm so confused. What misinformation? Dude.
And a good day to you, my friends. And just a thought from the pastor study. I want to address this firestorm concerning the clip that's been sent, I guess, everywhere. I'm quite frankly befuddled.
You're befuddled.
The misinformation out there it's sad. And I guess it's a part of what this generation has become. And concerning the clip that has been shared, it was nothing more than a small part of our Vacation Bible School. For 32 years, Vacation Bible School, we have characters every year that represent good and right and God. And we have characters that represent evil and wrong and that which should be avoided. We every year, through skits and songs and games and just a lot of fun, we make church a fun place, a
fun
happy
executions
place, a place where we hate sin, but we love the sinner. A place where we exalt Jesus and we hate the devil. I think you'd be in agreement that we shouldn't love the devil. I think we're all in agreement that there's such a thing as spiritual warfare, a battle going on behind the scenes that we can't see with physical eyes.
I think you're fucking nuts.
We here have a very serious addiction ministry, have for years, reaching those that have been broken by drugs and alcohol, some horrible addiction that's taken from them everything that's good. And we welcome them to come and we give them the truth that Jesus loves them, that the devil does hate them. They can be forgiven, can get a new life, can start over. And it's been one of the themes of our church. I think of how many times I've visited a jail and I leave there heartbroken over what sin and Satan has done to that poor person, and pray that God, I pray they let you change their life. And every year for 32 years, we've had this evil against good in our Vacation Bible School. The last several years, we've had the Commandos for Christ that has the gospel gun. It's the answer for the devil. The gospel and the word of God. It's the answer. The clip you saw was simply killing the devil. And I'll be honest with you, if I could kill the devil every day and raise him up and kill him again, I'd do it. He's the one we hate. We are not allowed by God to hate anybody else, not even our enemies. And that's all that clip was. Now, you may not like how we did it, You may not like, we used those air rifles. They're basically paintball guns. And maybe you're right, maybe we're wrong.
I am not goddamn high enough for this shit. I'm not anywhere near inebriated enough. My keyboard, the keyboard holder thing just broke off. Hold on. That RFK is on his way out. I don't know how reliable that is. It was from somebody I would usually trust. Textillion, did I tell you good evening? You boo. You're booing that he's on his way out. Is he fun? What's your definition of fun, Flash? RFK is fun. Wait, I saw him grab a snake the other day. I didn't see him throw it in a pool. And he had the snakes in his hand. They were biting his hand. And Cheryl Hines is all over the camera like, Robbie, stop it. Clinically, I don't remember the dabs we got. One was Jamaica and one was Bahama something. If you want to guess at what those two were. But one, I remember distinctly like thinking both are tropical islands. Because they only had two kinds. It was BB and it was Bahama something. I have the BB. And the J was Jamaica. Jamaica, man. Have some rum, man. With the Jamaica, man. See, I thought Baja Blast. No, it was Bahama something. I never can remember the names. Okay, we're in the crime section of the show now. Just so everybody knows. And boy, do I have some crazy shit. Oh, God. See, this is what I've found does really well for me on like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I'm focused on like 1 to 3 minute little short clips, and it's like the crime stories no other people like really cover, like the local news. I got it like clinically told me, like I asked for feedback 2 or 3 years ago, and clinically was like focus more on local news, and you were right on that one. That's helped. An Australian man is facing the death penalty over the alleged murder of a 17-year-old that was found in his luggage.
A grisly crime that's made headlines around the world. An Aussie expat accused of killing a 17-year-old girl in Thailand before dumping her body in a suitcase. But just who is Simon Carman, the man currently behind bars and under investigation by Thai police? And has the case brought into the open Australia's dirty secret, a beachside city where seedy men exploit vulnerable young girls?
This is a great place to live if you want to live cheaply, and that's the attraction for a lot of people. Beers are cheap and food's cheap, and you could live here for maybe $200 a week. The only reason I could think of people coming here is because they wanted to come here as a sex tourist.
Pattaya, Thailand, a resort city trading on its coastal lifestyle. It's pitched as having a pulsating nightlife, enticing expats from around the world. One of them is Australian Simon Carman, who now stands accused of a barbaric murder.
I can't think of anything more horrendous, not only for the alleged crime, but the way his victim was treated after that crime.
That victim is a 17-year-old girl, Tunchanok Donhomla. She met Simon Carman at a local beach last Thursday. Security cameras captured the pair heading back to the 45-year-old's apartment. Tunchanok Donhomla didn't make it out alive. Carman is seen wheeling out a suitcase 18 hours later. Police found the bag dumped in thick grass on the side of the road about 10 minutes away near train tracks. Stuffed inside was Tunchanok Donhomla's body.
People are pretty distressed and angry. There's not much sympathy for Simon Carman at the moment.
Carman was arrested at the airport trying to board a Jetstar flight to Perth. Instead, he was transported back to Pattaya and marched into the police station with his hands covered with scratches on his neck and arms.
I think it's quite a below get in here.
He was asked outright by journalists if he killed the girl.
You kill her, right? No, her. No.
But he didn't hide involvement in a message to Tunchanok's parents.
I feel bad for what happened to your daughter. It was out of my control. I hope you, I know you'll be very sad, upset, same me. It shouldn't happen.
Media reports in Thailand suggest there was a disagreement over the price for sex services. The original agreement was reportedly 1,000 Thai baht, or just over $40. Carman, it's claimed, then tried to pay half that. A $21 dispute that's left the 17-year-old's family devastated.
This dude.
Here, they pour through her old messages outside the police station. Her stepmother says she wants him executed. The young girl's final moments were spent in this apartment complex. It's where Simon Carman lived. He worked as a handyman at a nearby bar. He'd been in Thailand for around 8 months. From WA, he's what you might call a drifter.
I spoke to one of his friends last night who said, look, I knew him, but I definitely wouldn't have bought him a beer. And that was before these allegations surfaced.
Is Simon Carman someone renowned for seeking out sex workers?
He didn't seem to bring girls back to his apartment very often, according to his friends. People in the complex said they hadn't seen him very often, kept to himself, didn't open his door much.
But walking down the street in Pattaya, sex and exploitation are hard to ignore.
The person I was with pointed out a young girl. I thought she would have been 12. Maybe she was 15, but he said that girl was a prostitute. And this is what is happening here on the streets of Thailand. Australian men are exploiting young women for sexual services with no regard to the cost to them.
Is that sort of thing rife there in Pattaya?
It's everywhere. There's ping pong bars, there's bars full of, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's women dressed in bikinis who are yelling out to men, offering sex.
Well, yeah, because I found the local Australian news report of the dude's story. Yeah, the same thing went through my mind. We're going to go to Texas, where 3 women were arrested after a mom was stabbed to death. I think this happened outside of Houston, nope, San Antonio.
Night with the death of a Del Rio mother whose friends say her kindness touched everyone she met. 32-year-old Caroline Peña, known to loved ones as Caro, died last night after police say she was stabbed multiple times.
And police say it happened in the middle of the day on one of the busiest roads in town. And tonight, these 3 women are in jail for her murder. Arlisa Nieves has the story.
Caro Peña's friends say she was impossible to forget.
She was everybody's bubbly person. You know, she just had this infectious laugh.
Zelina Ochoa says she and Caro met as teen moms, learning motherhood and life side by side.
She was one of those people that she was born to be a mom. So she really loved to be a mom.
Caro was 32 years old, a twin, and a mother of 5. Her friends say she was the kind of person who could turn your day around and the kind who showed up when others didn't.
If you needed something and she had it, even if it was her last, she was going to give it to you.
Her best friend, Cristina Salinas, says the two were inseparable. They had just hung out Wednesday night. Yesterday, Cristina says she missed a call from Caro shortly before the confrontation.
I feel like if I would have answered that call, honestly, I would have been there with her.
The right place, Brooks.
Say officers were called to the Valverde Regional Medical Center around 2 Thursday afternoon after Caro arrived with multiple stab wounds. Police say the assault happened on East 10th Street.
They stabbed her twice on her back, which one of the stab wounds ended up puncturing her lungs, and that's what was the fatal cause. And the third stab wound was, on the side of her stomach right here.
Friends say images and videos appeared online showing Caro wounded, something that has only deepened their pain. Those images have since been taken down.
That girl, she's a fighter, man. She was still standing her ground.
Because of the severity of her injuries, Caro was flown to San Antonio for emergency treatment. By 9 p.m., police say Caro had died.
It's like a part of me got ripped out, and that's something that I'm not going to get back.
When arrested.
Investigators say surveillance video, evidence, and witness interviews led them to the 3 suspects. 2 sisters, Kitty Mia Diaz and Amaya Cookie Diaz, were arrested around 4 p.m. Police say Keandra Renee Faz was arrested a short time later. Ken's 5 obtained video showing Del Rio police escorting the sisters out of a home in handcuffs. Tonight, police have not released a motive. Additional charges could be on the way.
If only one of them had a son, you know, his mom got taken away, but he can still see her. Her kids are left with a memory. They're left with eventually a tombstone.
Alisa Nieves, Ken's 5.
She was totally smiling at the camera as the dog was yapping.
Investigators say surveillance video. Renee time later. Del Rio police escorting the sisters out of a home in handcuffs. Tonight, police have not released a motive. Additional charges could be on the way.
If only one of them had a son, you know, his mom got taken away, but he can still.
We have ages on them. It said young mother and 3 young women. I'm assuming 20s. But as I said tonight, like every night is fucked up news. That's why I've adopted that branding. That's a lot of my sites have changed to Justin Freakin's fucked up news or fucked up news, have the fucked up news logo. I think it will get people to follow more. It tells the brand of what I do. I'm gonna try to top myself here tonight with like just the parade of fucked up shit we're gonna talk about. Let me get high real fast. I'm not high enough for this shit. I see what you did there, Flash. Parents have been charged with second-degree murder after their 7-year-old kid died, weighing 255 pounds.
This in my years as a prosecutor.
The parents of a 7-year-old boy who weighed more than 200 pounds face murder, child abuse, and torture charges. This story began to unfold on November 4th when a 911 call was made for a young boy in distress at a Flint Township home. He was rushed to a hospital, but he died. And Terry, the Genesee County prosecutor says this is just a terrible case of neglect.
Yeah, he does, Angie, and that's why his office has charged the parents with second-degree murder following the death of their 7-year-old Casper, their son. He was 50 inches tall and weighed 255 pounds when he died.
On the face of it, this is cruel and extreme suffering from this child caused by the neglect of the parents.
40-year-old Damian O'Brien and his wife, 41-year-old Jessica O'Brien, face the same charges in connection with the death of their 7-year-old son Casper. The most serious charge, second-degree murder. Flint Township Police came to this home on Dania on November 4th, 2025, for a report of a child in distress. Casper was taken to Hurley Medical Center, where he died a short time later. Medical reports indicate he weighed 255 pounds at the time of his death.
That's obesity. And then you also have the fact that this child did not have a pediatrician, was only taken to the doctor, I believe, according to the police reports, once.
The cause of death was dilated cardiomyopathy, which causes heart failure, with a contributing cause being morbid obesity. The CDC lists a healthy weight for a 7-year-old boy that is 50.5 inches tall, generally ranges between 50 and 73 pounds.
The dad has a good job. They have real health insurance. That morning that the child died, they had even called their veterinarian to have their dog treated.
The O'Briens also have a 5-year-old daughter.
None of these kids even existed in the eyes of the government. CPS had never been out there. Nobody knew about these kids. They'd not been to school.
Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton says on the day police were at the home in November, the owner of the house stopped by, concerned, believing the house was falling into disrepair and the couple wasn't letting him in the house, instead leaving the rent on the porch.
I can't think of what else this is other than extraordinary, terrible neglect. And to me, that's willful and wanton misconduct, which is second-degree murder.
And police described the living conditions in the home as a hoarding situation. Now, I could not reach the O'Brien's attorney for comment. They are being held at the Genesee County Jail on no bond.
Wow. We're gonna go to Orlando, where we have footage of the moment a cop struck a vehicle carrying a 92-year-old woman, killing her. Don't hate cops enough.
Investigates exclusive. For the first time, we are seeing the video from the car crash with an Orlando police officer that killed a beloved 92-year-old grandmother.
Prosecutors decided not to charge that officer, but the initial crash report found him at fault for the accident that led to the death of Milagros Ortiz.
West 2 investigative reporter Justin Shecker was the first to report on the story in January. He's live outside the Orlando Police Department. Justin.
A warning, this new video is difficult to watch, but Milagros Ortiz's family shared it with us so we can show it to you at home. While Police Chief Eric Smith wouldn't sit down with West to investigate today for an interview, he's now publicly speaking about this case. This is the never-before-seen street camera video of the crash that killed the passenger in the Jeep, 92-year-old Milagros Ortiz. She was on her way home from a bingo game. Orlando police officer Andrew McEwen was behind the wheel of the marked Ford Explorer. At 1:51 a.m. on January 18th, McEwen was stopped at the red light on Hoffner Avenue. The video shows the lights turn on as the SUV enters the intersection with Cimarron Boulevard.
Okay, if you'll notice, these lights are yellow. So that would mean this side is yellow. That would mean this side is red, correct? So he is running a red light. We're all in agreement, right? If these are yellow, that means he has the red. Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Now publicly speaking about this case. This is the never-before-seen street camera video of the crash that killed the passenger in the Jeep, 92-year-old Milagros Ortiz. She was on her way home from a bingo game. Orlando police officer Andrew McEwen was behind the wheel of the marked Ford Explorer. At 1:51 a.m. on January 18th, McEwen was stopped at the red light on Hoffner Avenue. The video shows the lights turn on as the SUV enters the intersection with Cimarron Boulevard.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Those are solid red that I'm looking at. This is the green light across the street. So green light for that that way on the intersection. So he definitely had a red. The red lights are for the turn lanes.
Hoffner Avenue. The video shows the lights turn on as the SUV enters the intersection with Cimarron Boulevard, but then they turn off moments before impact. Since Ortiz's
nails
family
her right in the
contacted
driver's
us to
side.
investigate, we've been trying to speak with Chief Eric Smith. Going to chase after Chief Smith. You may remember at City Hall he avoided our camera when we tried to find out if the officer was on duty. He was. We requested another interview on Thursday, but Orlando police said at this time Chief Smith is not available. However, this week he did speak for the first time about the investigation into Ortiz's death on a local podcast.
From what we can gather, the vehicle had a failure.
When the state attorney's office closed this case with no charges, the prosecutor wrote, there was no evidence that McEwen intentionally turned off the emergency lights, but his memo revealed maintenance records for McEwen's vehicle show that there was a history of issues reported that involve the operation of the lights and sirens.
The vehicle had been wrecked prior to him when he even came on the department. It's one of our older vehicles. He had brought it in himself 3 times to say, hey, my lights aren't working.
The chief said on the podcast, this deadly crash is prompting changes to how the department's entire fleet is maintained and inspected.
We are looking, and the city has looked at getting rid of all of our vehicles that are older than 6 years, and we're looking in that process now. Part of it is technology. These vehicles are very technical, and we should be inspecting them, which the fleet's going to start doing now.
Officer McEwen's attorney told investigators he was attempting to conduct a traffic stop.
So their argument is that he turned the lights on and he was legitimately stopping somebody. He didn't mean to turn them off. So the woman who had a green light deserved to be smacked by him because she should have seen his emergency lights. That's what we're saying, right? That's why he's not facing any charges. Am I correct there?
And inspected.
We are looking, and the city has looked at getting rid of all of our vehicles that are older than 6 years, and we're looking in that process now. Part of it is technology. These vehicles are very technical, and we should be inspecting them, which the fleet's going to start doing now.
Officer McEwen's attorney told investigators he was attempting to conduct a traffic stop on a vehicle that made an illegal U-turn on the other side of the intersection. Investigators say the police SUV hit 32 miles per hour at the time of the crash.
He didn't zoom through the intersection. He was slow crawling through the intersection.
The state attorney's office determined there was no evidence that McEwen drove his vehicle into the intersection in the willful or wanton manner necessary for a finding that he was driving in a reckless manner.
He ran a red light. That was reckless.
Is broken. Our hearts are broken.
WESH 2 Investigate spoke with Ortiz's daughter Judy Santiago after informing her about the decision to not charge the officer with vehicular homicide.
They are here to protect and serve us. Not saying that he did it maliciously, but still, there has to be accountability.
While Chief Smith says the internal affairs investigation is still pending, he shared this message.
So my heart goes out to the family. I know it's a great loss for them. It's a tragedy.
Millie Ortiz is survived by her 3 children, 10 grandchildren, and 18 great-grandchildren.
I love you all, and I think that we should do this more often.
Yes, sir.
Get together. That's what we're family for.
And prosecutors say a nearby 7-Eleven camera captured that illegal U-turn. We asked for that video, but the state attorney's office denied our request. Meanwhile, Chief Smith said on the podcast, Officer McEwen was injured in this accident and only recently returned to work. For West 2 Investigates, I'm Justin Shecker.
Shut up, Justin. I don't know about accelerating.
To not charge the officer.
He does accelerate. Shit.
Informing her about the decision to not
Boom,
charge the
hits it
officer
right
with
there.
vehicular homicide.
They are here to protect and serve us.
After informing her about the decision to not charge the officer with vehicular homicide.
They are here to protect and serve us.
Bullshit. Sports cards, welcome in. I don't think he should be speeding through an intersection if he did have his emergency lights on. Minty, good evening. Fragwitz, I tell you good evening. We should never give cops the benefit of the doubt. Cops are psychopaths and sociopaths. You have to be a psychopath or a sociopath to do the job. So we should never give them the benefit of a doubt. We should always keep them on the shortest leash possible. Because the moment you give them any bit of slack, they'll do something like beat the fuck out of a pregnant woman.
Over here.
She says she was 9 months pregnant when a Buckeye police officer allegedly assaulted her while she was in handcuffs. I'm ABC 15 investigator Nicole Grigg. We were the first to show you that video that has led to that officer resigning and now headed to trial. And now we have more video of what led up to all of this.
Over here.
That's Buckeye police officer Carrie Carrico as she was processing this woman inside the Buckeye Police Department.
Do you understand me? You are here because you're an ass. Knock it off.
We're editing together these two videos to sync.
Listen, being an ass is not a crime. So what was she actually charged with?
We're editing together these two videos to sync the surveillance video to the audio of this officer's body camera video. This video provided by Buckeye PD shows the officer's arm swinging towards the woman's head. She was later taken to the hospital for a contusion and possible concussion. The officer's boss calling the encounters very aggressive and described them as definitely over the top and unnecessary. But new video now shows how all of this started as a woman was pulled over for reckless driving.
Is there any reason why you're going nearly 70 miles an hour down your road?
No.
No reason at all. Okay, do you have your registration and insurance? Is there any reason why you don't have a seatbelt on?
I do actually.
You don't, actually. You see how this is here? So it's not worn properly, so no, it wasn't on.
Now watch the next 22 seconds.
Well, this isn't my car. Okay, you're driving it. Is there a reason for the attitude?
Yeah, because you have one.
Okay. Go ahead and step on out. Nope, you can stay there. Face the car. Right over here. Put your hands behind your back.
Then listen as Officer Carrico goes to detain her.
You can leave my sleeve like that. No, I'm not going to leave your sleeve like that. When you become a cop, you can tell me how to do my job. Until then, you can be quiet. Let's go sit in the car.
An internal review of this encounter says when Officer Carrico did a pat-down search, she ran her hand along the woman's front waistline.
Excuse me? I'm opening the door. How do you expect to get in a car with the door closed, genius? Ugh. You're right. You're gross. Go ahead and step on in. Yes, you are. You and your attitude stink.
In the cop's own words, says the woman's attitude was what would take her to jail.
So you're taking her to jail? I'm taking her to the station. If she changes her attitude when we get to the station, then she won't go to jail. If she acts the way she's been acting, she will go to jail.
And back to that exchange
Wow.
about a seatbelt. That pregnant woman telling the officer she was wearing one, but her pregnant belly was too big, so she put the strap behind her instead of across her chest. Then as Officer Carrico goes to take her to jail, the pregnant woman asks about where her seatbelt is.
I don't have a seatbelt, so what you talking about that? Well, you're used to not wearing a seatbelt.
Wow.
The officer drives off and then you don't see it on video, but the internal report reveals that during transport, the vehicle appears to turn left, strike a curb or object, and that Officer Carrico didn't stop to secure a seatbelt on her. Carrico pleaded not guilty to aggravated assault in this case and another. Her trial is scheduled for November. She is no longer with the police department, but her attorney tells us this week that they have no comment at this time. I'm investigator Nicole Grigg, ABC 15, Arizona.
Arrested her for not wearing a seatbelt and then refused to put a seatbelt on her. Magnificent. Listen, apparently alligators are really hungry, so you probably don't want to fuck with them. This happened in Florida. I don't think I need to say anything other than that. Insane story of a woman being eaten by an alligator. We have the 911 call and everything.
Top breaking news in last weekend's deadly alligator attack in Seminole County. We now know the name of the woman who died.
West 2, the first to send the news to your phone. And in the last 5 minutes, we got a picture of her from her family. FWC says 31-year-old Brittany Clark of Orlando died after she was bitten on both arms Sunday in 3 feet of water along the Econ River. West 2's Justin Shecker is joining us live with what's next in this investigation. Justin?
While we now know the name and
Checker
the
again.
identity of the woman who lost her life, FWC is still trying to make sure they remove the gator that bit her from the river.
Yeah, people need to understand this is a very rare situation.
Frank Robb has more than 3 decades of experience dealing with Florida alligators. He offered some insight about the active FWC investigation into the deadly encounter Sunday afternoon in the river at Little Big Econ State Forest.
FWC has a lot of steps they'll go through. They'll look at bite patterns, look for DNA, things of that nature.
Florida Fish and Wildlife officials say
Is it one of those things where once it gets the taste for blood, you gotta put it down or some shit? Elemental, I don't think I told you good evening. Welcome in, friend. No, yeah, like I was just, like alligators do that. You get in a river, you expect to get eaten by an alligator. That's the risk you run.
FWC investigation into the deadly encounter Sunday afternoon in the river at Little Big Econ State Forest.
FWC has a lot of steps they'll go through. They'll look at bite patterns, look for DNA, things of that nature.
Florida Fish and Wildlife officials say they captured and killed 2 gators. First, a 13-foot gator near where 31-year-old Brittany Clark was badly bitten, and a 12.5-foot gator a half-mile away. She lost both of her arms.
The guys who go out there to do that job, the trappers who go out there to find the animal that is the problem, they're pretty dang good at their jobs.
The 911 calls captured the concern, the voice of the victim's friend.
How bad is the bite? Horrible.
It sounds like from the 911 calls, there were people there. Having an eyewitness to what happened definitely helps the situation.
Now to confirm if either of the harvested gators were involved in the deadly attack, FWC is submitting DNA samples to a lab in Gainesville for testing.
They'll be looking first and foremost in the animal's mouth and then its stomach.
West 2 has reported on 3 gator attacks within 7 days in Central Florida.
You can find alligators in pretty much every body of water in Florida. It's about being aware of your surroundings.
Known by the nickname Alligator Rob, he says people need to remember to keep their distance, only swim in designated areas, and never feed the cold-blooded reptiles.
If you have an alligator that's been fed, you're dealing with one that's not afraid of people anymore, will approach people, will not naturally be afraid and move away, and that's when the risk goes up.
And a family member has set up an online fundraiser for 31-year-old Brittany Clark. It describes what happened to her as, quote, a completely bizarre accident. Now, Clark
Is
is
it
being remembered
bizarre?
for her fun-loving soul.
She was in a
The family
river
is
in
trying to
Florida.
raise money to return her remains to her parents in California. Covering Seminole County Live, I'm Justin Shecker, West 2
I'm
News.
just like, if you're in a river in like Ohio and you get eaten by an alligator, that would be kind of odd. It's not that outlandish to expect you'll get eaten by an alligator in a river in Florida. Portland, welcome in. So, curious or asked me, like, why don't they just put, like, algae eaters in the reflecting pool? And I'm like, well, doesn't the reflecting pool have to be, like it can't move or it doesn't reflect? It's got to be stationary or stagnant. I don't know. It probably also plays into why they can't put a filtration system in it. So the difference between an alligator and a crocodile is a woman got eaten by an alligator in Florida. This man got eaten by an alligator in Mexico.
Tonight, new video shows a massive crocodile at the beach near a popular resort in Puerto Vallarta.
Wait, did I fuck it up? Did I say alligator twice? Man got eaten by a crocodile in Mexico.
Tonight, new video shows a massive crocodile at the beach near a popular resort in Puerto Vallarta shortly after officials say a 28-year-old man was attacked and killed by one over the weekend. Jamie Yetter and Chris Burry were vacationing at the Marriott Puerto Vallarta when they witnessed the horrifying attack.
It was a really, really big croc, and he never let go of the man. He just kept taking him under, rolling him. And every time we saw him surface, it was deeper and deeper every time.
The couple says they had no idea the beach near their hotel is known for crocodiles. In 2021, a California woman was also attacked while staying on the property.
Did anyone warn you when you checked in at this hotel that there were crocodiles in that water?
No.
No one said a word about it.
Did the hotel close down the beach after this attack?
No. Even the next morning, hours later, there's little children playing in the water.
Marriott tells NBC News the hotel has appropriate signage as well as night patrolling and red flags to indicate caution in the area, and all were
crocodile bites are your responsibility.
The only warning they saw about crocodiles was this one sign they took a picture of at the entrance to the beach.
There's only one small little white sign with several marine animals
Swim
on it.
in that bitch at your own risk.
Terrifying incident comes as officials in Florida say a 30-year-old woman died after she was attacked by an alligator while swimming in a river outside Orlando.
She was bitten on both of her arms.
Officials now issuing a warning as they report 3 alligator attacks across central Florida in just the last week. Liz Kreutz, NBC News.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
How many people have ever taken the Benadryl challenge? Anybody taking the Benadryl challenge? Well, a kid is dead now that he took the Benadryl challenge. I guess he won.
A warning about one of the latest social media trends making the rounds.
We are now learning an Oklahoma family is grieving their 15-year-old daughter who passed away after taking part in the Benadryl challenge. News 4's Hunter Elise has her story.
Her eyes and her smile, the way she could just do her hair, she very characteristic. Her personality.
That was Richard Presson, a heartbroken.
Is the Benadryl challenge? I would think it's taking 2 Benadryl and trying to stay awake for as long as you can. That's my Benadryl challenge.
Father talking with News 4 last week as his daughter Leah was fighting for her life in the hospital. She tried a TikTok trend referred to as the Benadryl challenge, promoted as a way to experience hallucinations. Leah began having seizures and was rushed to the hospital. This week, a sad update on Leah. Her dad posting on social media saying, due to circumstances beyond our control, we will be planning a separate celebration of life for Leah, going on to say our only focus is honoring Leah, sharing memories, celebrating the beautiful person she was, and surrounding one another with love as we remember her life.
I just want everybody to be aware to where they can educate their kids that these challenges are
The
just
whole
silly,
box?
and they need to be educated so it don't happen again.
Child psychiatrist Dr. Chandler Hicks
That's
stresses
too
how
much.
children often don't recognize the danger of social media trends. So the
I can't, like,
conversation needs to be
Benadryl dries you out. I can't, like, if you take 3, you'd be so dry, you'd, like, turn to dust. I can't imagine taking more than that.
going with them.
If your child is using iPads or on Roblox or other different gaming devices, they may be exposed to bad things, and so you should start that conversation at a really early age. Some of it can just be being naive, being young and not really understanding the consequences. Some of it can be attention seeking. Some of it can be peer pressure related.
And he wants to remind parents that setting a screen time rule and putting them away at night is helpful. And always watch your child's behavior for changes.
If you notice the child is more isolating, if their peer group is changing, if they have had a change in performance at school, they were an AB student, now they're a DF student.
Advice to prevent popular trends from having devastating consequences for your family. Hunter Elise, Oklahoma's News 4.
Hearts go out to that family. Leah's celebration of life was held just a few days ago.
Her father's post went on to share more about his daughter, saying, "Leah wouldn't want us to be sad, and we have all shed enough tears. Thank you to everyone who has reached out.
No, you should not do 12 Benadryl.
Us and love Leah through all of this. Your
If you
kindness
take
means
2,
more
you will
than words
hallucinate.
express."
Take 2 and fight sleep. You will hallucinate. The maximum allowed dose in 24 hours is 6, and that's in 24 hours. $12 in 24 hours for adults? That seems like a lot. Like, seriously, I take Benadryl. I take one of them bitches. Usually I got some kind of rash or something. I take a couple Benadryl. 2 tops. Cause it fucked, like my nose will be completely dry and I don't like it. Hey, Media Winch, how are you? Gorgeous woman. Now that you're here, we should totally get high, not like I was packing a bong and had it in my hand. Hey, Byronic. I had a gal one time I was trying to hook up with. Like, give her kid Benadryl, try to get him to go to bed. I'm like, I don't think you should do that, but, like, do it. I'm horny. Yerster said that that blueberry smelled like Dimetap. I was like, do they even make Dimetap anymore? That used to be the thing you gave the kids that they'd hallucinate on. I think whatever shit was in it got outlawed. Sure, let's do it. Let's do it, Media Wins, right after the show. Probably about 40 minutes. Let's get through this fucking news shit. Hey, did you know that there was a church in Florida that was apparently running a drug ring? Or at least they got raided for it.
On Eyewitness News at noon, a major criminal enterprise has been dismantled in Volusia County after several agencies served search warrants early this morning. It's a story you'll see only on 9. Good afternoon to you. I'm Alexa Lorenzo. Channel 9 Volusia County reporter Demi Johnson rode along with the sheriff's office as the SWAT team raided a church. She's live in Holly Hill outside that church this afternoon.
Holly Hill.
And Demi, this investigation is part of a federal wiretap.
Alexa, this is actually an operation we got involved in 2 years ago with the Daytona Beach Police Department. It was called Operation Icebreaker. And what happened this morning is part 2 of that operation, but it now involves the Volusia Sheriff's Office, multiple SWAT teams.
Christbreaker, am I right? Aha.
And FDLE, and only our cameras were there as the Sheriff's Office raided this church this morning. Take a look. And the sheriff tells us the pastor of the Greatest Harvest Ministries in Holly Hill is actually related to these gang members who were using the church to run a drug operation. This was just one location hit this morning.
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach police served 5 search warrants, and the sheriff's
Greatest
office served
Harvest.
another 5. Both the sheriff and Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young say the more than 50 suspects from this gang are involved in multiple shootings and overdose deaths all across Volusia County.
They're using it for the cover of their cutthroat killer gang that we know from investigation over the past year.
Mike Chitwood. Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Didn't I call his office one time and call him Chitwood? Somebody verified me on that one. I think I called his office one time. He made the news for something else. I called his office and called him Chitwood.
Volusia County.
They're using it for the cover of their cutthroat killer gang that we know from investigation over the past year that this was where they were storing their dope and their guns.
Extremely dangerous, violent criminals, pushing dope, fentanyl, crack, you name it, they're pushing it.
Pushing it. They got all the drugs.
Some of those investigators going through evidence seized inside of this house. Investigators tell us this gang
He's
was
just sitting there
actually
playing on
responsible for
Facebook.
a shooting at Buc-ee's just 2 weeks ago. Law enforcement at this hour still
Ain't fooling
working to
nobody.
take again more than 50 people into custody involved in this operation. We will have much more from you, including
Do
some
people
of the
still
people
play
involved
WoW?
and their charges coming up starting on Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. For now, live in Holly Hill, Demi Johnson, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now, you know I love police chases. And I've watched many a police chase. I've seen it fucking all. Except this. I have never seen someone hijack a car with a pitchfork and then lead police on a chase. This happened in Texas.
Pitchfork-wielding assailant now facing charges after carjacking a man on the North Freeway. Good evening, I'm Gina Gaston.
And I'm Eric Barajas. Investigators say that's just the beginning of a crime spree that stretched from Houston into Huntsville and ended in Leon County, where that suspect was shot.
The nearly 100-mile saga started on I-45 near the North Loop with a carjacking. The victim was found 20 miles from there near Spring.
That's where we found ABC 13's Liliana Pearson, who's been working to piece all this together. Liliana.
Yeah, this is where the Harris County Sheriff's Office is telling me that they found the victim of the carjacking, but that carjacking itself took place about 20 miles away from here. Law enforcement telling me that that carjacker allegedly used a pitchfork to force his way into the vehicle on the North Freeway during early morning rush hour.
The traffic was slow and heavy Monday morning when the Harris County Sheriff's Office says a man armed with a pitchfork climbed into the bed of a Ford F-150, broke out the back window, and climbed inside. Investigators say that's when they began to get multiple calls for erratic driving.
They dropped an assault on the freeway, middle lane, 45 Adolph Bank.
Those calls led deputies about 20 miles north to the I-45 feeder near the Hardy Toll Road, when law enforcement say they found the truck owner on the side of the road. A nearby business shared this video showing police arriving to the area. But Eyewitness News would learn the carjacker's alleged crimes would go on to stretch across nearly 100 miles and multiple jurisdictions. According to the Leon County Sheriff's Office, the suspect would drive up to Huntsville, where he's accused of committing an aggravated robbery, and then leading law enforcement
Probably a
on
felon
a chase.
flash?
Department of Public Safety confirming this social media video shows the suspect in the stolen truck. Watch as the truck is seen slamming into a DPS vehicle before reversing and speeding off again. DPS says the
assaulted the cop with his truck.
Multiple jurisdictions. According to the Leon County Sheriff's Office, the suspect would drive up to Huntsville, where he's accused of committing an aggravated robbery, and then leading law enforcement on a chase. The Department of Public Safety confirming this social media video shows the suspect in the stolen truck. Watch as the truck is seen slamming into a DPS vehicle before reversing and speeding off again. DPS says the chase ended when one of their deputies eventually shot the driver, who's now in the hospital in critical condition.
Because there are just so many agencies involved in this, I am still working to piece some of this together. Of course, we would like to know the identity of this carjacking suspect. I'm also waiting to hear back from the Huntsville Police Department, hoping that they can tell me a little bit more information about that aggravated robbery. And of course, what we can tell you, some good news here, that victim from the carjacking here in Houston, the Harris County Sheriff's Office telling us that he did go to the hospital, but has non-life-threatening injuries. From Spring, I'm Liliana Pearson, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Liliana, thank you. And also,
Liliana. Let's go back to Florida. This happened in Tampa. A multi-county high-speed chase.
A Bradenton man facing several charges after Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say he led them on a multi-county chase on Sunday night that ended in Hillsborough County. Randall Woodson III now behind bars in Hillsborough County, being held without bond.
Let's bring in ABC 7's Ellie Davis. She does join us live from the newsroom tonight. Ellie, there's been an uptick in speeding-related arrests recently.
Well, this isn't the first high-speed case that we have shown you recently. This past weekend, a driver clocked going almost 150 miles per hour. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, we want to start with an overnight arrest out of Manatee County. Randall Woodson III leading deputies on a chase. Florida Highway Patrol said he reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Deputies say it all started with Woodson allegedly committing aggravated assault after slamming his vehicle into a woman's vehicle and sending her threatening messages. The sheriff's office says they knew Woodson was armed and dangerous, and he told them he would not go back to jail. They said that just before 10 p.m., deputies found his vehicle in the 1100 block of 9th Street in Bradenton, and he drove away and caused a crash nearby. MCSO's aviation unit then tracked him as he drove over the Green Bridge through Pinellas County and into Hillsborough County. Now take a look at this video. In Tampa, Woodson crashed off of Manhattan Boulevard and driving into a fence where he got out and tried to run from authorities, which can be seen here in this video.
Westbound open field, and you're jumping a fence going back northbound. Just getting tangled up in there. Okay, I've got him laying down.
And that's not the only Suncoast man we saw this weekend causing chaos on the roads. Jacob Israel Acosta arrested late Friday night after Florida Highway Patrol says he was clocked driving 142 miles per hour on I-75. Acosta was arrested and charged with dangerous and excessive speeding, also known as super speeder.
Oh, clinically. I don't know if you saw this story. I mean, you clearly weren't here for me covering it. But we did a story about two guys were street racing. One of them was like 82. And the dude was in a Corvette and he was doing 135. And the cop said they clocked him at 135. And he's like, no, sir, it doesn't go that fast. But then when they took him to the county jail, they asked him which car he was driving. He was like, the one that won, the Corvette. He had a cigarillo in his mouth. Yeah, the 82-year-old was hilarious because he said he didn't do any street racing. But he had a racing steering wheel. He had a racing bucket seat. Like, that car was absolutely tricked out for street racing. No, it was not an old Corvette. It was a newer Corvette. Both of them were driving something incredibly new. Oh yeah, I thought a Corvette definitely would do 150. Since we're talking about the super speeder law, let's go ahead. We'll do the super speeder law here. Florida's super speeder law may bring an end to a famous YouTube channel run by a NASCAR founder's great-grandson.
Last year, we told you about this YouTube channel that featured videos of motorcycles appearing to speed dangerously through the streets of Central Florida. Now, the operator of that YouTube channel says he'll no longer be posting videos of high-speed motorcycle rides. His reason? Florida's new super speeder law. This YouTube video, titled Orlando to Daytona in 20 Minutes, appeared to show a motorcycle weaving through traffic on I-4 at high speeds. The speedometer can be seen hitting more than 150 miles per hour. Dozens of similar videos were once featured on this YouTube channel called Speed Demon 407, operated by Dallas Ashley. What's up, YouTube? Ashley happens to be the grandson of NASCAR's former CEO, Jim France, and the great-grandson of NASCAR's founder, Bill France Sr.
You gotta treat every car like it's a bullet with your name on it.
After I began reporting on the YouTube channel last year, the Florida Highway Patrol says it reviewed these videos, but ultimately did not pursue any criminal charges.
I'm Officer Thacker, Longwood Police.
Hello, I'm Dallas Ashley. At the time, Florida's super speeder law had not yet taken effect. But now, police can arrest anyone driving dangerously at more than 100 miles per hour.
Bought this thing to go 200, bro, and the felony just to go half that.
In this newly posted YouTube video, Ashley says the new law is taking a toll on him.
I feel like this is gonna be the last video on the channel. I just don't have the same passion, you know. It's ever since the super speeder law, it's just a matter of time before my gets taken to fucking jail.
Before he shuts down the Speed Demon 407 YouTube channel, Ashley has this message.
I want to thank all of you guys for all the support that you gave me. Besides FHP and Channel 6 News, my life would have been a lot better had y'all two never gotten involved.
Well, fuck the cops, but Channel 6 News, you do a good job.
It is what it is.
Since the super speeder law took effect about a year ago, law enforcement has arrested thousands of drivers.
Attention to your YouTube channel where you were posting your crimes.
To see how those criminal cases are now being resolved. Mike DeForest, News 6.
San Diego is suing the city over a fall. Anonymously. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see everybody tonight. We've apparently got at least video of the aftermath of the fall.
So there is a $35 million claim against the city of San Diego for a dangerous hazard on a Mission Hills sidewalk.
We showed you that just a second ago, right? And you're going to see more. Basically, it's an exposed, rusted metal base, and it's still there. More than a month after a horrific accident was caught on security camera. Video is disturbing. We'll show you one more time. 70-year-old man tripping and falling and suffering a broken neck and back right here. His attorney is now seeking accountability and damages.
NBC7's MG Pro.
Jesus, that was gruesome. Yeah, I don't know if I can watch that again. The clip will do really good for me on Facebook, though. I don't know if I can watch it again. God. Oh, I'm not gonna add a funny sound. Yes, I will. Because, like, honestly, the more fucked up I make the videos, the more views I get. Content is weird. Okay, I'm gonna play it again. Content warning. Shit. Fuck.
A dangerous hazard on a Mission Hills sidewalk.
We showed you that just a second ago, right? And you're going to see more. Basically, it's an exposed rusted metal base, and it's still there. More than a month after a horrific accident was caught on security camera. Video is disturbing. We'll show you one more time. 70-year-old man tripping and falling, suffering a broken neck and back right here. His attorney is now seeking accountability and damages.
NBC7's MG Perez joins us live from Mission Hills with more on the legal claim and the dangerous spot that is obviously still there, MG.
Even he's like, oh my God, my neck.
We are at the corner of West Washington Street and Albatross, and this is the hazard. It's a raised metal base with exposed bolts, and it used to hold on to a City of San Diego parking meter. That parking meter was removed over a year ago. That is according to the attorney representing that elderly man who tripped and fell right here, and it was all captured on the security camera of this animal clinic. May 11th at 12:20 in the afternoon, the man and his wife, who did not want to be identified by name, had just left their favorite sushi restaurant and were walking back to their car parked on Albatross. He uses a cane. You can see what happened next.
He trips, falls directly into the car, suffering a fracture to his neck and his back.
William Berman is the attorney representing the victim and advocating for his life. Berman has filed a claim against the city, saying it created the dangerous condition when it removed the parking meter a year ago, leaving raised and rusted bolts and lugs.
It should have done something about that, yes.
The curb for 30-minute parking. He also claims that there are many other hazards like this in Mission Hills, Hillcrest, and near Balboa Park.
They protrude the sidewalks about 1.5 to 2 inches. And they're quite dangerous. The city needs to get out there and make sure that they're taking out these bases from the sidewalks.
Robert and Laura Landisi live around the corner. He uses a walker to maneuver streets in their neighborhood.
Especially with the walker, the sidewalks are not even. There's, because of the trees.
If you're not paying attention, you're going to run your wheel right into and then we go from there. But I have yet to fall.
A spokesperson for the city's communications department told us they cannot comment on this incident or any individual claims or potential litigation. The San Diego City Attorney's Office also said no comment. The victim's attorney says this.
If the city doesn't contact us and indicate a desire to discuss the claim or resolve the claim, the next steps in the process will be to file a civil action.
Berman is seeking $35 million in damages for his client. He is now at home recovering, but he requires 24-hour health care every day. Now, it was
life, probably.
That City Council met to discuss the growing number of legal settlements that has been facing the city recently.
Recover from that at his age.
Just the last decade, there has been more than $116 million in payouts just to cover the police department's liability. If you are here at Albatross and West Washington, beware.
Just to cover the
This hazard.
police department's liability.
We are live
God.
in Mission Hills. MG Perez, NBC7.
And I think some of the numbers, MG, is like the city of San Diego is a defendant in at least 300 lawsuits, claims every single year. Thanks for your reporting.
You know, good city planning would help that. I have spared you guys multiple animal stories that you do not want. Warlord shared one in the Discord, and I'm like, I specifically did not show that. It is a fucked up story. I specifically did not show that on the Troll Patrol because I don't want to subject anybody to that. But this one is possibly animal abuse, possibly not. I don't know. A man was accused of throwing cats out of a moving car, and you know me. If he was actually doing that, I will hunt him down. I love kitty cats, and I would not let anybody do that. Like as a weapon. I don't know. We're going to have to get the story.
For the first time, we're hearing from a man accused in a shocking case of animal cruelty. Homewood police arrested 21-year-old Thomas Liccione after getting reports of someone throwing kittens from a moving vehicle. A judge dismissed the case due to lack of evidence, but not before Liccione's life was completely upended in a social media environment where viral headlines can overshadow the presumption of innocence.
And look who shows up for the story about cats. The idea that somebody was throwing kittens out a window. Like such a comically villainous thing to do. Like, I tried to write this story when I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade or something like that. And the villain arc I came up with was this dude was just hanging babies from street lights. There were dead babies hanging from street lights. And it was just like the most villainous thing my 4th grade mind could come up with. This sounds like something like a 4th grader's like, oh, they were throwing cats out the window. Kittens. It wasn't cats. It was kittens. They were throwing kittens out the window.
Liccione, he's finding himself in deep hole and burying himself in it.
This is just one example of dozens of messages 21-year-old Thomas Liccione has been getting since his fateful arrest.
My family's receiving a ton of hate, my friends, my girlfriend, like everyone's just getting threats.
It was just after noon May 30th and about 10 minutes after he left his apartment that Homewood police pulled him over on Lakeshore Drive. While searching his car, officers relayed to him an unbelievable claim of animal cruelty. According to this Homewood Police news release, dispatchers received multiple 911 calls regarding a person throwing kittens from a moving vehicle driving on I-65 near Lakeshore Drive.
I mean, just that sounded crazy. I was like, absolutely not.
Now,
it does
for
sound
weeks,
crazy.
And even after the charges were dismissed June 12th, Liccione, who moved to Alabama after graduating from the University of South Carolina to work in sports media, has seen his life unravel. He was evicted from his apartment, and even with few details, and surprisingly, no cell phone, flock camera, or dash cam video evidence, the disturbing story quickly took off online.
I didn't even check Facebook till days later, and I had well over 50 death threats on that platform alone.
Liccione, seen here with his family pets, says he'd never even been pulled over before, let alone arrested. Spent 30 hours in the Homewood City Jail. He was transferred to the Birmingham City Jail and bonded out after an hour. The entire time consumed with worry and fear that the course of his life has been permanently altered.
I don't own cats. I love animals too. I grew up with dogs, and that was kind of that's something that made it very hard to swallow. It's like, it's just not reflective of who I am.
You know, I think the main reasons this case was dismissed is because
he looks like he is a soulless, lifeless chud here, and that haircut definitely not doing you any favors. But all the other pictures of you, it looks like you're a very happy dude and you love animals. So, yeah, I wouldn't think that dude would throw kittens out a window.
Love animals too. I grew up with dogs, and that was kind of that's something that made it very hard to swallow. It's like, it's just not reflective of who I am.
You know, I think the main reasons this case was dismissed is because every single piece of evidence that was collected after the initial accusation contradicted it. There's nothing that corroborated it.
Liccione's attorney, Elijah Sargent.
Okay, the first thing is, do we have dead kittens? You go back, you find, that would be easy to find. Are there dead kittens on the side of the road?
Says he understands police initially had little to go on.
You know, obviously the police have a tough job. They have to make split-second decisions. No cat hair in his car, no container to carry cats in his car. There was no cat hair on his clothes. There was no scratches on him. There's no video of him driving erratically. You know, if you're trying to grab 5 loose kittens and throw them out of your moving car, it'd be tough to keep it between the lines.
I reached out to Jefferson County Deputy District Attorney Sean Allen, who says in an email based on the 911 call, he believes there was probable cause for an arrest. He goes on to say, "We do know that he was on a phone call beginning from when he left his apartment at approximately 12:06 p.m. and continuing until police stopped him approximately 10 minutes later. Given the lack of evidence that cats were inside his vehicle, the absence of any container or any other means to control multiple kittens in the car, and the timing of the phone call, the evidence did not support a conclusion that he transported kittens from his apartment to that location on Lakeshore Parkway and threw them from the vehicle." While relieved the charges were dropped, Liccione says it's tempered by the fact that clearing your name in court can be hard, but clearing your name on the internet is nearly impossible.
I didn't do this, that I'm innocent, that this never, was something that had anything to do with me. And it is hard knowing that, once you're labeled as something, you kind of ask yourself, no matter what you keep presenting, are you always going to be labeled this way? Are you?
Liccione's attorney says for now, his client is just focused on getting his life back in order. He's had to leave town for his safety, and all legal options are still on the table. We did reach out to Homewood Police, but they have not yet responded.
I don't think that guy threw kittens out the window. A Georgia woman went for an oil change. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. A Georgia woman went for an oil change. It is. A Georgia woman went for an oil change, and instead of changing her oil, they just left her engine in the backseat of her car.
A Douglas County woman's car engine is sitting in her backseat. She says a bad oil change destroyed it. It happened at the Take 5 on Thornton Road. That's the same place consumer investigator Justin Gray was earlier this month for the same kind of complaint. And Justin is live there now with some new developments.
Wait, there was someone else whose engine ended up in the backseat of their car. Fool me once. Shame on you. 2 inches. You have to be really bad at changing oil. Like, does anyone know how impossible it is to get most engines out of a car or a truck? Like, it is a Herculean feat to lift an engine out of a vehicle. How the fuck?
It happened at the Take 5 on Thornton Road. That's the same place consumer investigator Justin Gray was earlier this month for the same kind of complaint. And Justin is live there now with some new developments.
Yeah, George, we know the national brands, the brands like Take 5 here. But if something goes wrong, it's not that recognizable brand, their corporate office you're going to be dealing with. It's the local owner, the local franchise owner who you'll be fighting with over that money. What's in your back seat?
My engine, part of my car.
It doesn't take a mechanic to now see that Johnston McLaughlin's 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee is undrivable.
What they pulled out of my car looks like something from a sci-fi movie.
You can see the engine damage in these pictures and the piece of a towel mechanics found inside. Johnston McLaughlin believes the damage started here at the Take 5 location on Thornton Road when she says an oil pan wasn't properly replaced during a routine oil change.
The manager told me that I forfeited the warranty that is on the contract of a oil change because I did not bring it back to them.
Earlier this month, we introduced you to Regina Lee. The engine in her 2023 BMW X3 was destroyed after a Take 5 oil change at the same Douglas County location when the oil drain plugs were not properly reinstalled.
I just want them to take full accountability for their mistakes. That's all.
Even when you go with a big name brand like Take 5, our Channel 2 consumer advisor Clark Howard says you actually will be dealing with the local franchise owner if things go wrong.
You're dependent on that individual store and that store owner to do right by you.
You don't have to remove the pan.
The big company is like, we wash our hands of it.
Since our last story, the owner of this Take 5 location emailed Regina Lee,
super easy
process. I look forward to
process.
settling the mess our mistake has put you in. But he also refused to increase the amount he would pay toward a new engine, telling Lee he, quote, wasn't thrilled to do so when you decided it would be a smart move to go to the media and tarnish our business's reputation.
Wow.
That owner also emailed me that, quote, taking care of a guest that has a genuine concern or complaint is absolutely our responsibility, but there is a line between that and those that want to try and game the system. Johnston McLaughlin just needs transportation.
It's a big burden. I'm not able to go to work. I have no car. I've been Ubering.
Now, the vice president of the Chinara group that owns this location had told me he'd do an interview, but when I tried to set that up, he did not respond. Now, Clark says instead of going to these national chains, what he recommends is you develop a relationship with a local mechanic. That'll cost more probably for an everyday oil change, but then you have that relationship, that trust established if something bigger goes wrong with your car. Reporting live in Douglas County, Justin Gray, Channel 2 Action News.
Is there anything we really need to cover about it, Fuzzy? I know there has been backlash against anyone that has said Polis did the right thing by pardoning Tito Peters. Yeah, but it's the primary. Like, there's not like, is it a competitive race that we need to like be paying attention to? I'm burnt out on news right now. I think Media Winch and I are going to play some poker. And by the way, if you've not been with us for poker, anybody is welcome to join. It's not real money. Come in, sit at the table. You don't have to get on a mic. You can if you want to. Come in and play poker with us. I mean, I would cover it like I didn't think that it was significant enough, and my apologies if I was wrong in that. But like, hey, I'm open to suggestions always. We will definitely be kicking into high. I'm kind of like, I announced earlier we're gonna do summer vacation next week. I'm gonna take a week off from news. We're just gonna watch fun TV shows on Twitch. So we've got Capitol 4th is on the 3rd this year. Carlton, Chicago, Kool and the Gang, Alan Jackson. That's Friday night. That's the fireworks on the mall with Carlton hosting. We do that every year. That's on Friday night, 8 o'clock. And then Sunday we're going to start vacation week. I will give you the schedule tomorrow. I've kind of got it roughly mapped out. I haven't finalized it yet. God, what do I even do with it? Gonna try to get sketch comedy, improv comedy in for one night. Gonna do music requests one night. Probably gonna do some classic wrestling, and I think I'm gonna do classic wrestling, like most shock title wins or some shit like that. Because we've had a couple, and I'll show you Sami Zayn from this past weekend, and Darby Allin from about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We can totally flip it over to the Carnegie cam if you want to when the polls close here. Top of the hour. But before we do that, let's get this story in. A New Jersey school is in hot water after a photo of baby Hitler made it into their yearbook.
These pages are all baby pictures of kids who just graduated Eastbrook Middle School. We're blurring them to protect their identities, but one picture, number 48, has absolutely nothing to do with the students and their school pride. That is an infant picture of Adolf Hitler. We spoke to the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey.
I'm horrified once again by what's going on in our society, that we have lost all sensitivity and have lost
Was it
all
wrong of me
respect
to laugh at that?
for genocide and things that have happened in the past.
Once Eastbrook administration learned about the picture, it acted immediately, instantly, collecting all the books that had been distributed to students. They sent home a letter condemning the act. The principal saying, in part, an image of him has no place.
Missed an opportunity to put it at
created
number
for
88.
It does not reflect who we are or what Eastbrook stands for, and we condemn its inclusion without reservation. Paramus Mayor
Left to
Chris
saying he was too
Piazza
high
with
in the
strong
listings.
words as well.
It doesn't represent Paramus. That we're a diverse community.
Nobody gives a shit what Jeremy Piven has to say.
All throughout the town. So it's one bag of action doesn't represent the town.
How the picture was included is under investigation. Paramus police were notified, and the information was shared with the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, all wanting to get to the bottom of who did this.
Why they would
Well,
do
who
it,
was
the
number
influence
48 in the
behind
yearbook?
why they would do it, how it got past the eyeball test. Although, in all fairness, it might be hard to identify the picture if you don't know that picture.
The school is working to replace all of the yearbooks so that these students who are off to high school
It's
in the
just a
fall
prank.
have their middle school years memorialized the way they should have been in the first place. In Paramus, New Jersey, Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
I don't know. I see some rank anti-Semitism all the fucking time. Hitler in a yearbook is kind of fucking funny. Maybe it's wrong of me to laugh, especially at the moment in history that we are in. Can't help it. Remember the fire that we were recovering? There was a warehouse fire in California. Well, it turns out there was 85 million pounds of food in that warehouse that caught fire and burned for multiple days. Guess what? That 85 million pounds of food stinks.
Mayor Karen Bass vowing accountability following that massive warehouse fire in Boyle Heights. She just issued 2 executive orders to help transition the city from emergency mode to cleanup mode. But firefighters still haven't put out those final hotspots yet. Eyewitness News reporter Denise Studor live in Boyle Heights with the new developments tonight. Denise?
Well, a complete knockdown of this fire continues to evade LA firefighters. The complicated nature of this incident makes it difficult for firefighters to get all the hot spots. Now, behind me, you can see there are no water cannons, but they have been going on and off throughout the day. They don't plan to turn over control of this incident to the owners and occupants until it's completely safe. The county and city expect a long and lengthy cleanup. Meantime, the smell of rotting food continues to be a nuisance to people who live and work in this area.
I wouldn't want to walk outside for too long.
A half-mile away at ckers Cafe, the ongoing odor is slowing down business.
I noticed for sure like a smell of like rotting meat. Like I said like carne muerto to my cooks in the back. I'm like, I don't know how to say it in Spanish, but it smells like something dying.
We understand that residents continue to be concerned about odors from the perishable food and the potential for fly and rodent impacts in the community.
Chief Science Officer Dr. Nicole Quick with LA County Public Health says 80 million pounds of food that's burned or continues to rot should not pose long-term health consequences. Air monitoring does not indicate any presence of bacteria, mold, or other contaminants.
But the odors themselves can be unpleasant and can lead to temporary irritation of eyes, nose, throat, can lead to nausea, headaches, and so forth.
There will be accountability, but there will also be immediate action. That work is already underway.
LA Mayor Karen Bass, along with Council Member Isabel Jurado and Supervisor Hilda Solis, announced 2 emergency executive orders to establish a centralized command structure to get resources to impacted
It's worse than a garbage dump
businesses,
because it's
and
all
workers,
organic
and
matter.
to deploy health screening.
Communities like ours have lived alongside warehouses, freeways, heavy industry, and pollutions while receiving fewer protections than wealthier neighborhoods.
As for the firefight, the building remains compromised.
We've been hitting the hot spots that are still in there that are smoldering by hydraulicking the material that's in there with water cannons.
In the emergency orders, the city and county hope to recoup the losses from this 13-day incident, and that includes compensation for the ongoing environmental hazards. Now, the cleanup and the removal of the debris has started. It started over the weekend. Contractors are moving truckloads out, and that rotting food is headed for landfills in Ventura and Riverside counties. Live in Boyle Heights, Denise Tador, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hey, Bonder Monkey, welcome in. Leftist, I don't think I told you. Did I give you a proper good evening? If I didn't, this is your proper good evening. Good evening, Leftist Corporation. Which is that is an example of an oxymoron. Had to explain satire to somebody in the Discord earlier because they don't understand what it is.
From James, but we will
Polls
see.
in Colorado
Adam,
right now.
If anything comes in that's not Denver, right?
Yep.
Again, Denver was the first, and it was 73% of Denver's vote in one batch last time around. So could tell us an awful lot. And again, that was 9/11. It's 9:02, so we may have a couple minutes here. What else can we talk about? I didn't want to give short shrift to it. I won't go over there now, but just north of here, you're looking at the 8th Congressional District. The 8th Congressional District is the one where Democrats are having their primary tonight. It's a former state lawmaker and a current state lawmaker.
I didn't tell you. Good evening.
County, which is super fast growing, just north of Denver. Adams County it's probably going to make up 3/4 of the vote.
Squirtle attack. All that sounds really fucking dirty.
Most of the rest of it is going to come from Weld County. That's where Greeley is. This is the 8th district right here. Commerce City. This is Adams County. This is right over the line from Denver. Fast growing, and then the district just goes all the way north up into up into Greeley, up into Weld County. There is a
Lauren Boebert's district, wasn't it?
None of the districts in Fort Collins. But again, this is super politically competitive turf. So tonight is about setting up a general election matchup you will be hearing a lot about between now and November. Did you see something?
Denver should be reporting shortly.
Okay, we got an update on that.
Yeah, it should be coming into the system.
When you say those things, I feel they're very knowing and like there's a.
Yes, I see the report on their website. So it should hit the system.
Folks, it's
shortly.
coming. Folks, it's coming. Oh my goodness. This could be. What do you think it's going to be? To get 30 years in office, Quiros, the socialist challenger. James, the regent. The numbers coming momentarily.
Oh, it's killing Carnegie.
Again, we think this will be the best. This is probably the best it's going to be for DeGette. Whatever number gets spit out here is think of it as it's probably her high watermark. You know, with whatever vote is left, she will probably come down to some degree from whatever she gets in this first report. And with whatever votes left, we would expect, based on how these things have been going, that Quiros would probably go up to some degree from whatever this first number is. If you're DeGette, you do not want to be trailing here. You want to be leading. You want to have a pad. My goodness.
3 incumbents get taken out last week.
It's 70% of the vote.
Yeah.
It's 70% of the vote, folks.
It just hit for the statewide races.
Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. This is seconds away, folks. Seconds away.
Oh God, he's killing me.
Check in with Hickenlooper. I'll let you know when it's in.
You don't think it's...
Hey, Viz,
I
welcome
don't,
in.
I'm going to count to 10, and then we'll go to Hickenlooper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I want the moment here. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Is it in our system for the Senate?
Yes.
But it's not in our system for this.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, folks. We don't want to miss it. Okay, that's the first batch of vote from Denver. And there's Hickenlooper basically tied with Gonzalez. By comparison, Hickenlooper, when he was elected in 2020, he won the primary with 59% of the vote statewide. He got 53 in Denver, right? So, I mean, bare minimum, if you're Hickenlooper using that as a gauge.
It's in for
It's in.
one.
Here we go, folks. What do we got?
Oh,
my goodness.
The get goes down.
That is the Denver drop. It's 2/3 of the vote, we think. That's the expected vote. Remember, that number can move a little bit. That's our expectation of how much vote
We're
is
seeing
there.
another incumbent get taken out tonight.
Socialist Malat Quiros leading 30-year incumbent Diana DeGette by 2.5 points, 2,269 votes. Again, this is the city of Denver that just reported out. And again, our expectation is what you have here was the earliest vote to come in. It's been coming in by mail. It's been getting dropped off at these Dropbox centers that they have. And the tracking information they have demographically about ballots that have been accepted has been saying that the electorate has been getting younger the closer we get to Election Day. Okay, that's why when I say an expectation that this first batch is going to be the high watermark for DeGette, it's based on that. It's based on that the demographic that we think is fueling Quiros being more represented in the late counted votes than in what you're seeing right here. If that is the case, then it's curtains for DeGette. And what we now expect, and Adam, check me on this, is that we will not get a Denver update for some time.
That's right.
Okay, so take the mental picture, folks. We'll return to it. I think sometime in the next 90 minutes,
yep,
we get our next Denver update. And that's going to be where we get clarity in this race. Because that's the question. The next update, we start getting ballots counted that aren't as, that are closer to, that are going to be more in that demographic wheelhouse we think for Quiros. So that becomes the question. That next update, does she start expanding the lead? Then it confirms the sense that I'm describing here. If there's a surprise and DeGette's got a chance, you'll see it in that next batch. But that's going to tell us the story.
Let's meet you, Winch. I'm going to, as soon as I end the Troll Patrol part of the stream, I'm going to go warm up a sandwich.
What does this mean for the Senate race?
I've got in there.
Okay, we showed you this a minute ago, but let's go back out. Now we've got some more in on the Senate race. Okay, Hickenlooper, we got a sixth of the vote in statewide in the Democratic Senate primary, and there's Hickenlooper with a 5-point advantage over Julie Gonzalez. Now, what I want to tell you here is the gauge we're using for how Hickenlooper's doing is when he ran in 2020, he faced a primary, a well-known candidate who ran very much to his left in that primary, okay? Gonzalez is trying to run to the left of Hickenlooper here, a progressive primary opponent for Hickenlooper in 2020. The result was Hickenlooper 59. Andrew Romanoff was the name of the candidate back then. It was 59-41 Hickenlooper, right? So in any given county, just as a rough, a rough gauge here, there's a pad for Hickenlooper of about 9 points. Okay, if he lost 9 points from that, it'd be a 50-50 race, right? So I'm going to start going through the counties, and we're going to say what was Hickenlooper's number in 2020. Okay, so take a look, like in Weld County. This is a big one. We got 94% of the expected vote. Again, this is where Greeley, Colorado is here. Hickenlooper 59, Gonzalez 40. What was the Hickenlooper number here in 2020 in the primary? 62. So it's down 3 for him. But remember, we say the pad, give or take. This is rough here, just to give you a sense. But the pad is 9 roughly. It's down 3 here in Weld County. Much bigger, Denver, where we started. Again, this is the same thing we just saw in that House race. What was the Hickenlooper number here? It was 53 in 2020. It is 50 right now. Now, a lot more vote to come in Denver. Again, we saw at least 40,000 votes had come in today, and that update was not at poll close. So it's probably 50,000 votes that came in just today in Denver. And again, if those votes are that very progressive sort of young progressive sort, then you could calculate that Gonzalez would improve with the next update from Denver. So right now, Hickenlooper is 3 points short of where he was in 2020 in Denver. And Denver is 20% of the vote statewide, right, in the Democratic primary. This is as big as it gets. That's okay. That's why we're lingering on Denver here. Hickenlooper, if you're using that 2020 thing, at an absolute bare minimum, 45 is probably as low as he could go in Denver. Okay, he's running at 50 with 2/3 to come, with 2/3 in. Okay, where else do we have here? We got Douglas County. Okay, again, this is in that Denver metro area, part of where we say 70% of the vote going to come out of this area. Hickenlooper running at 62. What was his number in 2020?
We were closing at the covering at the beginning of the stream has come to a close.
Him down 3 from his 2020 number in Weld. We see him down 3 from his 2020 number in Denver, and we see him currently down 2 from his 2020 number in Douglas. These are not landslide numbers if you're Hickenlooper.
Dead in Boston.
If you're trying to just survive, these are so far encouraging numbers if you're Hickenlooper. Teller County is tiny, just next to Colorado Springs. We got
apparently
Broomfield.
They took their own life during the standoff.
County co-terminus. This is the smallest little piece of the Denver metro area, but we got most of the vote here.
That came to an end about 7:30. Road was opened about 8 o'clock.
Hickenlooper is 55.5. His 2020 number here was 56.
The standoff that we were covering when we first came on.
In. So again, this is smaller as Denver metro goes, but these are all numbers. If you're Hickenlooper, we're getting out here. We could test ski country a little bit. How about we do that? Let's go out to Steamboat Springs. This is where the Steamboat Springs Resort is. This is one of those ski country counties. Again, individually, they're not huge. Cumulatively, they probably add up to about 4% of the vote statewide. This you would think, we're talking about, these are the higher income, older Democrats, okay? This you would think is Hickenlooper's wheelhouse. He's getting 72. Key question, what was his number in 2020? It was 72. So no slippage for Hickenlooper in one of the ski country. We got Vail too, huh? We got Eagle County. This is where Vail is. We got about 2/3 of the vote. Hickenlooper, 69. What was his number in 2020? It was 67. So he's now running north of that number. So we got 2 ski country counties that, demographically are coming through for him. The rest that's sort of on this map right now, these are all this is the Eastern Plains. I mean, this is the kind of thing you're going to be looking at. Down here, this is a county where Trump made some sizable gains, one of his double-digit gain counties, but this is small in a Democratic primary. So zoom out, Hickenlooper with that advantage. It's double digits with a
probably not looking that good for Gonzalez.
Key, though, is that we are not seeing him
really
in the
good
big
for
counties,
Quiros.
the significant counties where we've got significant vote. You are not seeing the kind of slippage that it would take to endanger Hickenlooper in this primary. That would have to change dramatically, okay? Again, if you're Hickenlooper, a former governor, a United States senator, he briefly ran for president in 2020 against an opponent here who's a state legislator.
Damn good showing for Gonzalez, though.
Funded campaign. These are not overwhelming numbers if you're Hickenlooper by any stretch of the imagination. But again, these are numbers. If you're Hickenlooper and you're trying to survive, so far you are seeing what you want to see. If we have Weld County, I suspect it means we've got some numbers in the 8th congressional district.
I don't think the race for governor is all that close. I'm not familiar with these races.
Politically competitive
so forgive
terrain.
me.
Okay, Donald Trump carried this by 2 points in 2020. I'll put it up on the screen. Donald Trump carried it by 2 in 2024. In 2020, Joe Biden carried it by 5. What powered Trump to that victory? Hispanic voters. Those big gains he made with Hispanic voters nationally. That's very much the case in this 8th district. It's about 40% Hispanic. It is super fast growing. Now, what we've got here is there's 3 parts to this district. Okay,
here?
Adams County is right here. Okay, Greeley, this is Weld County right here where we have vote coming in.
Is it going to be
And then
close?
this is actually the same county. These 2 little slivers are parts of Larimer County, which is where Fort Collins is. The Larimer County portion is like 4% of the vote. So really what you got is about 3/4 of the vote.
Probably switch over and do poker here in a little bit.
Votes yet. Okay, and about 20% is going to come right out of here in Weld County. That's where we do have votes, although we, it's
As I said, I got a chicken parm sandwich from yesterday. It's called my name.
Weld, and you can see Routenell there. We got most of the vote there, most of the expected vote.
Curiouser was like, I want lasagna. And talked about lasagna over and over and over again.
Not just the fact that that's a 23-point lead for Routenell in a pretty good chunk of real estate. This is sort of the disputed territory in the district. Both Byrd and Routenell are from the Adams County.
Yes, sir.
The Adams County.
I think we're going to fire it up here in a couple minutes.
Commerce City,
The chicken
Byrd,
parm
Westminster.
Biggins.
They're from the Adams County portion of the district. This is neither one's home turf, and Routenell is up significantly with most of that vote tabulated. So Byrd would need to turn it around. There's a lot of votes down there in Adams County, but they both have political bases down there. Again, Latimer, very small piece of this. Byrd, by the way.
I got Byrd for you. No, we're probably about an hour or more away, hour and a half away from
going to this super competitive
results. I was waiting for them to get to the
Gabe Evans. Gabe Evans was
governor's
elected
race
in a very close race in 2024. And again, this is one of those you'll just hear a ton about between now and November. If you're Routenell, that is a very encouraging start. The dynamic in this race,
I do know we have
was a little
parm. We have extra
interesting here.
parm, but I don't think we had got like extra mods.
Has a long-standing
image
image
put
in
on a
Colorado
parm
politics, sort of
sandwich if you're
a
warming it
centrist
up.
figure, bipartisan figure. Routenell, until about a year ago, had
you wanna
been
know
sort
the
of
thing,
running in, occupying
we
a
got garlic
progressive
knots, or
lane,
she got garlic knots. I
reversed
wasn't really
some
hungry.
positions, changed his posture, changed his rhetoric
But,
as
like,
the opportunity opened in the
It
8th
came
district,
with like
which is
the
again
homemade marinara, so I'm looking
competitive
forward to
in the
dipping
general
my
election.
sandwich in that
It's been an
marinara.
interesting dynamic. He's come in for some criticism for that, but again, you're seeing in Weld County, that's a big advantage for him right there.
She had bought these little balls of mozzarella. They weren't like the full big balls, but they were like half balls of mozzarella. And I sat here one night and ate an entire ball.
Big, significant pieces of the puzzle, but a lot of what you're seeing are very, very small counties right here. What we're interested in is anything coming out of the immediate Denver metro area. Something like this is Jefferson County right here, right? This would be Adams County, which we're talking about. This would be Arapahoe County. These excuse me, are the big ones that Elber's not. El Paso County down here, where Colorado Springs, and we got Pueblo. Okay, here we go. Most of the vote in Pueblo County here, and you can see Hickenlooper running
way down yonder in the Saggy
61
Coochie.
to 5. What was his
Alan
2020
Jackson playing
number
at
here?
the
It was 65. So again, the story is what we've seen elsewhere. This is slippage for Hickenlooper from where he was in 2020.
But it's not enough slippage for Gonzalez to be
Remember,
able
we
to
said he doesn't want to see something
catch
around
him.
9 or more. Okay, low single digits. He doesn't want to see high single
That's
digits.
a good showing
He
and
can't
should
see double
be
digits.
encouraging for
The
her.
worst he's seen in terms of slippage so far is low single digits. So again,
trying
that
to take out an
continues to be
incumbent senator is a
big,
uphill task.
relatively big puzzle piece here. The news that we're seeing here in these numbers continues to be if you're Hickenlooper and you're thinking like Al Davis used to with the Raiders, just win, baby. You're seeing what you want to see. The slippage from that 2020 number is just not so far has not been nearly pronounced enough in what we're looking at. We nothing new has come in here. I just wanted to show it to you. We want to check into the Colorado governor's primary on the Democratic side. This is Here is a United States senator who does not
We
like
just got Jefferson County as well.
what he said. Okay. Look at this. Michael Bennet, United States Senator. Phil Weiser, Attorney General. Weiser had been trying to run to Bennett's left here, stressing progressive issues, but also Weiser had been trying to make an issue of Bennett's longevity in Washington, trying to attach him to a national party that we have seen in our own polling with Democratic voters is not popular at all. And look at this, the numbers that Weiser is getting. Let's just go through this right here. In Denver, wow, I mean, look at this, sort of the, 2/3 of the vote. He's crushing Bennett in Denver. Jefferson County, Adam just mentioned, this is a giant piece. This is going to be 10% of the vote, 12% of the vote statewide here. Weiser with a double-digit lead over Bennett.
Damn.
Most of the vote in. Look at Douglas. These are the big population centers here in Democratic primaries, and this is where Weiser is putting up. It's only 5 points here. This is the only Denver metro county.
Yeah, we
Douglas,
covered.
that actually
We watched that
Trump
debate where he said that
in 2024. It's where Weiser's number is the smallest right now, but he's getting a double-digit number out of Jefferson. That's a huge one. He's getting a 30-point margin, as we say, out of Denver. Broomfield is small, but it continues the trend. Take a look up in Weld County. Now there, Bennett has an advantage. Weld County, though, it's big, but it's smaller in a Democratic primary than these Denver metro ones, and the Bennett lead there is only 2 points. Pueblo County, now there, Bennett's getting a big, that's the first good news for Bennett all night. Now, Pueblo it's significant, but it's about 3% statewide, right? We say Denver, where Weiser's up 30 points, is 20% of the vote statewide.
Looking good for the left. Probably not enough to take out the incumbent senator.
Or so of the vote statewide in this primary. Okay, take a look. We were taking you through the ski country counties, Steamboat Springs. Okay, again, I think you kind of would expect Bennett to be doing a little bit better in these. He is there, not in Eagle County, however. Okay, this is in one of Mesa County. This is the population center of the Western Slope, such as it is. Grand Junction is here. And again, look at that. Even there, Weiser with a 15-point advantage.
Looking good for Weiser.
So, wow. Those are, if you're Weiser, you are loving what you're seeing. And if you're Bennett, holy cow. You didn't give up the Senate seat. But got into this race with the benefit of being a senator, supposedly the benefit. And these numbers are suggesting that Weiser was able to turn that around on him. What did that mean in the Senate primary with Jefferson County? Hickenlooper, 15-point advantage here, 57-42. What was the Hickenlooper number here in 2020?
A great showing. It's just not going to be enough to overtake the incumbent senator.
His 2020 number. So it's very consistent.
Strong showing for
with
the
Hickenlooper.
left.
He won
Again.
59-41 in 2020. In most places we've checked in, he's down a couple points from that, right? And if you
Okay, so that gives you a
extrapolate
sense of what's going on in Colorado. I think we need some animal videos. Mutant mice. Now, if it's your first time running for an office like Senate and you do that well, that's a very good sign for your future. Absolutely.
It might sound like a sci-fi horror movie, but mutant mice are all too real. Researchers at Rutgers found mice here in the Northeast have evolved to survive common poisons. So what happens now when you call pest control? Eyewitness News anchor Michelle Charlesworth went to find out.
Mice have genetically changed, mutated. The poison isn't killing them anymore.
They show a much higher mutation frequency than we thought before.
Rutgers University studied mice from New York City, D.C., New Jersey, and Philadelphia.
I mean, technically that is
How
mutating.
Many have mutated in the cities? Most of them.
We found that about 70% of the mice populations contain mutations.
There have been some mice, some rats that were resistant to the poison. They lived to see another day. Then they were breeding, and then their babies also were the same poison-resistant mice. Is that right?
Yeah. So anytime we use, any product on any of the pests, we're putting a selection pressure on them.
Ian Williams studies all of this at Orkin and says something else might be going on too. We know mice have been mutating fast for about 5 years, which might not be random. Think COVID. We changed the way we were eating, ordering more takeout, more food garbage moved outside of homes than restaurants. Mice scattered and were exposed to more poisons.
And the bag of garbage that was put out every night for food for all the alley rats, it's not there anymore. So where did they go? And so some of this may be a result of that.
And are rats, like mice, also mutating?
They are smart, but we definitely have to become much more smarter than them.
What about good old-fashioned mouse traps or birth control?
Mouse traps work.
Birth control?
Extremely well.
Well, you gonna get a mouse to use a condom? Gonna get it on the pill?
Placement.
And birth control?
Even if a rodent can't procreate, it can still spread disease.
Rutgers continues to study this, and it looks like we will be forced to do some changing too. In Soho, Michelle Charles,
I mean, why
Channel
is everybody
7,
so horny here?
Eyewitness News.
I knew that, Textillion. I did it for comedic effect. Oh, god damn it. Dude was getting into his truck in Colorado, actually. And he had a little surprise in there. At least it wasn't his engine. I'm glad he took out his phone and took a picture. That bear ain't gonna hurt nobody. Look at that that's a cute motherfucker. It scared him. I would try to hug and pet that bear. He may bite you, yes. Oh, poor bear. Don't hit in the head. You're also not supposed to poke the bear. There's literally a saying about that. Probably has like 8,000 calories of snacks in there. 80,000 calories of snacks. Fair enough. It was a super, young bear. That's what I'm saying. I probably would have tried to, pet it or something. It could still bite you, though. And claw you. He fell over. Alright, Twitch people, stick around. I'm going to bring Media Winch on. Whole cast of other characters. We're going to play some poker. YouTube people, Facebook people, podcast people. Light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. Don't forget, I said next week we're going to do vacation week. We're going to do vacation content on Twitch. We're going to take a vacation from all the other platforms. But we've got a Capital 4th on the 3rd. That's Friday night. We got the news tomorrow night and Thursday. Capital 4th on Friday. Light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live.